Well, good evening, a very warm welcome to Cali in Colombia for the final round of the UCI Track Cycling World Cup. Well, this magnificent velodrome is unique in terms of this World Cup. As you can see in the background, it's the only open-sided velodrome that we go to throughout the season, and therefore it creates a totally different atmosphere. It was, of course, the host of the World Championships of last year. Well, we're going to bring you live coverage, and we're also going to bring you highlights of the racing this evening. So first up, we're going to bring you the men's sprint. This is the semi-finals, and we're going to see Jeffrey Hoogland racing against the powerful German Maximilian Levy. Levy there, making his way onto the track, getting himself ready for this race. The second of the semi-finals is going to be Fabian Puerta against Denis Dimitriev. And so we'll see how these guys do in the semi-finals. Jeffrey Hoogland then onto the track in the orange, Maximilian Levy alongside him. There goes Levy, making his way towards the fencing at the top here. Well, sprinting, of course, 3 laps of the track. And the riders draw lots to be the rider who leads off. And that will be Jeffrey Hoogland of the Netherlands, who will be the rider who leads off here. Maximilian Levy on the outside. Very important now for these riders as we get ready for the build-up to the World Championships. The World Championships coming up at the end of February, taking place in France. And we are going to, we'll see, of course, the likes of Francois Pervis riding in front of a home crowd. And I'm sure it's going to be a magnificent round of racing. Well, last time in the Track Cycling World Cup in London, in the men's sprint, Jeffrey Hoogland was the winner of the sprints. He beat Fabian Puerta of Colombia, and Hersony Canelon of Venezuela was in 3rd place. So Hoogland has a little bit of a reputation now to behold in front of this crowd. Now, this track is very different to ride. You get the wind can sometimes blow across the track, still 250 meters in length. And Hoogland leads here at the front on the Côte d'Azur, hasn't taken to the track yet. But there are moments in this track when you can be sitting there, it can be very, very warm. And now and then you get little storms that blow across the track, and of course, because the sides are open, the riders are exposed to all the elements. So Hoogland holding Maximilian Levy up the top of the track now as they turn on the power a little bit. And Levy's hanging back. He's going to let Hoogland take the front of the race now as Levy now gets into the slipstream. And he's going to make sure that they get right onto the wheel if he can and go past. But Hoogland has the advantage. He goes past, and he will go 1-0 up in the competition. Jeffrey Hoogland then 1-0 up against Maximilian Levy. Here's the replay. Levy started to put on the power, but he almost backed off a little bit, decided to go onto the slipstream. And Hoogland then had the power just to lead from the front. We're going to move on then to the second of the heats. And this is going to be a Fabian Puerta. And the crowd are going to go pretty nuts now as they see a Colombian rider making his way onto the track. Listen to the crowd in the background. They're all up on their feet as they greet the Colombian rider. Fabian Puerta, a great fan pleaser as he gets himself onto the bike now, just adjusting the toe straps. Look at this, they're going to go absolutely wild if he wins this one. Now he's up against this rider from Russia, Denis Dmitriev. Dmitriev, look at the thighs on this man, riding for the Rus Velo team. Fabian Puerta, silver medalist in the Keirin in the World Championships in 2014. So the beginning of the year. So in 2015 he will be looking to defend that silver medal and see whether he can move into gold medal position. He's in the all-white this evening. He's the UCI World Cup leader after his performance in London. But the crowd now urging him on, the volume of them significantly higher. He was second in London to Jeffrey Hoogland. He'll be looking for another showdown with him. But in front of a home crowd, who's to say he can't take the gold medal here in this World Cup tonight? It can go to a decider, 3 rounds of racing. And now Fabian Puerta leading Denis Dmitriev as they go round inside the red line now. Puerta, the crowd really rising to their feet now as he looks around again. 1 lap to go. Dmitriev making his way up the outside. Puerta's going to have to. He's made a little bit of a mistake there. He let the Russian through. Oh, big mistake there by Fabian Puerta. Dmitriev has the power and he goes 1-0 up in the competition. Well, he had it absolutely perfectly worked out, but it didn't quite happen. Here we go. Dmitriev goes round the outside and Puerta allowed him to go to the front, and then once he was inside the sprinters line, that was it. Well, at the moment then, Puerta is heading to another bronze medal ride-off. He'll have to fight his way back. Well, thanks to all of you for joining me this evening as we turn our attention now to the women's team pursuit of finals. And here we see the bronze medal ride-off with Italy against the United States of America. And the Italian squad on the other side of the track. Here they are as they get themselves up to top speed. The American team with a little bit of a change formation here, bringing in Carmen Small. And at the moment, it's pretty neck and neck. Italy slightly quicker through the first of the intermediate time splits that we see there on the screen. But the USA team have brought in the world team time trial champion Carmen Small to give them a little bit more firepower. But so far they're 0.463 down on the Italians, who are looking extremely quick and very cohesive. This Italian squad very, very well drilled. But now the United States of America starting to peg them back a little. 0.377 is the difference. this American squad of Carmen Small, Lauren Tomeo, the 31-year-old, as the Americans now race into the finish. They take it in 4:32.482, and that is a bronze medal for the United States of America. The average speed 52.847. Well, the interesting thing of this American team is that they are looking better and better all the time. Any British fans, they've actually got a Yorkshire lass in their squad, Ruth Winder, who's a Yorkshire rider who now rides for the United States of America. As we turn our attention now to Australia against China. Well, this Australian team have been switching formations all the way through this Track World Cup, and so far they've used 11 different riders in this women's team pursuit. And tonight they're up against the Chinese with Wang Dong, Jin Di, Yilang Hong Yu and Chao Bao Fang. And this Australian team are young, all in terms of average age. This team is only 18 years of age as an average. Some real firepower in here with the junior world champions of the team pursuit, Alexandra Manley, Lauren Perry and Macy Stewart. And so far, though, the Chinese are giving them a little bit of a lesson in how to ride a team pursuit. But don't ride off the Australians yet. Alexander Manley, Lauren Perry, Macy Stewart, of course, the world champion in Ponferrada in Spain in the time trial, 0.642 now down. They are starting to come back a little bit. This Chinese team, though, getting better and better all the time at the team pursuit. In particular, Wang Dong and Chao Baofang were both bronze medalists in Guadalajara, and they're now looking like the Australian team are much more cohesive. The Chinese starting to look a little bit more ragged in their changes. And now with 250 meters to go, the Australian team still slightly down. They're really going to have to motor here. And it is 0.622 is the difference between these two squads as they head now towards the conclusion of this women's team pursuit. Look at that, the Australians turned down a deficit to a 0.719 victory as they race, as they go round towards the conclusion. It's really looking a little bit ragged for the Chinese, and the Chinese team's heading up now towards the conclusion of the race, and it is 1.410 is the difference, and the Chinese definitely are getting a little bit more ragged. The Australians are turning up the pressure, and the Australian team now heading to the finish. They do take the victory, and they're going to be well over 2 seconds faster than the Chinese team, 52.534. And this Australian squad, how can they keep changing the formation like this with 11 different riders?
To even medal, we just wanted to make a final. So for us to get into the final, we didn't really have a particular strategy, just to give it everything we had and hopefully come home with the gold, and that's what we did. So it's really exciting for us.
Well, there's our medalists in the women's team pursuit. The gold goes to the young Australians, the silver to the Chinese, and the bronze medal to the United States of America. Let's bring you highlights now of the men's team sprint. And we are seeing the ride-off now for the bronze medal. Poland against Japan. Now, not normally we see the Polish and the Japanese teams going for any medals in the Track World Cup in the men's team sprint. Those of you who have not seen this before, 3 riders on the track, and each rider takes 1 lap of the track with their teammates in their slipstream until the final rider, who then just has to ride the final 250 meters. And it's all about going flat out and getting all the power out before the finish. Well, this looks like it's a bit of a neck-and-neck contest. We'll see who comes through to take the victory here. And it looks like Poland are slightly up, in fact 0.848 up. And this Polish team here of Grzegorz Dregia, Christoph Maxel and Damian Zielinski heading now towards a conclusion, 43.907, and they take that by over 1 second. The bronze medal goes to Poland. Well, here is the ride-off then for the gold and silver medals. And we have the Dutch team lining up. Matthias Buchli, Hugo Hack and Jeffrey Hoogland racing against the team of France, which has changed. They've used Francois Purvis in the qualifying round. Gregory Bourget, Quentin Lafargue and Kevin Siro are the 3 riders who will be taken to the start line. Here we go then. In the French team, Gregory Bourget, bronze medalist in the World Championships in 2014, here in Cali with Kevin Siro. And Matthias Buchli, a bronze medalist in the Keirin World Championships previously. Someone holding up their watch just to give us a little bit of an example of how fast these teams are going. Well, the French here really powering their way around this track. It's neck and neck. 0.270 between these two squads as they race towards a conclusion of this men's team sprint. Who's going to take the gold medal? The French look very, very fast indeed. They hit the line by 0.182 of a second, and the win this time in Cali goes to the French. Well, the crowd really enjoyed that. Here's the replay as we see them go powering off the blocks here. The French did look very, very comfortable, getting all the power out just before the finish, and that will give them a little bit of motivation now for the championships.
Please acknowledge our medalists.
Well, there's the podium. France take the gold, Netherlands and Poland.
Amazing place. We are happy. I'm so happy tonight because we win the gold medal and jersey.
Well, for those of you who don't know, Cali is the capital city of salsa dancing. And there we are with Kirsten Wild leading the Omnium. This is the pursuit. And here we are seeing the 2 riders on the track and making their way around to get themselves their qualification times. And this is Zhao and Balabalina who are on the track right now. And Zhao maybe not producing the performance that we thought as they make their way around to a crowd that are relatively quiet here in this velodrome right now in this women's Omnium. And Zhao here, 7th fastest right now. And it's Balabalina who is catching Zhao. in this individual pursuit, and is going to go through with the fastest time of 3:2 through that checkpoint. So she's looking pretty quick on the track. Let's see what she stops the clock in. 3:38.595, and that means that she at the moment is second fastest. Now Amelie de Theriksen on the left, and Pawlowska now racing off. Oh, problem there for Amelie de Theriksen. Don't know what happened there, but she didn't get safely out of the starting blocks. Let's make sure she recovers this time. And here we go. So we're underway. Now Amelie de Theriksen, those of you who follow the racing will have seen that this young rider is getting very, very impressive on the track. She's already a double world junior champion of the road race, and she is looking like an incredible talent. And here we can see just how good she is in a time trial, as she is about to catch Pawlowska, which is absolutely fantastic to see. Pawlowska is no slouch when it comes to a race like this, as they go through with Amelie de Theriksen having caught Pawlowska, and she finishes with a time there at the checkpoint of 3:38.696. She goes second to the time of Tamara Balabalina. Now we know that Kirsten Wild is leading at this point, and she's up against Simona Frapporti of Italy. Kirsten Wild, a very, very good road rider indeed. Incredible sprinter. And we'll see what sort of performance she can produce here. She did, of course, have a real tussle in the women's omnium in London with Laura Trott and Julian Dora. She looks like she has really got her aero position sorted out on this bike, but she does waver on the track. Just the power that she puts out, that she does not quite hold the black line. You'll see if you just keep an eye on Kirsten Wild and the performance here. She does struggle in the corners to hold that bike down on the black line, but significantly faster here than Frapporti, but second quickest to Balabalina so far. Through here, and she can now sense that the victory is hers. 3:35.133 to Frapporti's 3:41. So Kirsten Wild wins the individual pursuit, which means that she has a perfect score so far, top of the leaderboard. So into the elimination race then. And the elimination race, big crash. A lot of riders hitting the deck here. There was one rider touch wheels at the top. I think it was the Mexican or the Irish rider who went down first. And that was a big, big crash. Well, looks like they're all safely back up again. It was Caroline Ryan who was the first rider to hit the deck. But she's safely back in this group of riders as we get towards the run-in towards the conclusion of the race. We're down to the last 5 riders, and in here we have at the front Katarzyna Pawlowska in the red and white of Poland. Kirsten Wild is in there in the orange. Also in here is Simona Frapporti of Italy, and it looks like it's Lotte Kopecky who is the rider who is eliminated there. Lotte Kopecky of Belgium. She will drop out. So 4 riders left on the track now. Pawlowska, stunning scratch race rider. Also in here is Soline Lambolet, the French rider. We haven't seen too much of her. Ooh, almost a touch of wheels there. And Kirsten Wild screeches through. But Lambole is the rider who's in a little bit of trouble. They're bouncing off each other in this race. And they race to the line. Look at that. Oh, who's eliminated that time? They're all looking around. They've got the little orange box on the handlebars that tells them who's eliminated. And it is the Polish rider who was just squeezed out there, so she'll finish 4th. Katarzyna Pawlowska. 3 riders left on the track. Kirsten Wild, Simona Frapporti, Soline Lambole of France. Those 3 riders are left. And now it is going to be a drag race to decide the next elimination. Kirsten Wild at the top of the track, looking to dominate this one. And it's Frapporti who is just squeezed out that time. Well, who's going to be the rider you're going to put your money on? It's got to be Kirsten Wild, hasn't it? Kirsten Wild, one of the fastest sprinters in the world, up against Soline Lambole of France. Wild, tall, powerful rider, looks even more dominant in the orange colours compared to a normal trade team. But Lambole's decided to go for an early one, and Kirsten Wild's having to work really hard to get into the slipstream of the French rider. She's going to challenge her. What a win! Oh, and she was celebrating very, very early against Kirsten Wild. But the French rider, Soline Lambole, takes the elimination race. That was a thrilling finish. So we're now in the points race, which is the final race of the night. And here are the standings. Wild leading with 181, Anna Kanawa with 160, Mekias with 158. So it's still anybody's race. Of course, the omnium has now changed a little bit. And that is that the omnium comes down to the final sprints of the evening. And it looks like we've got a real tussle going on. Wild looks like she's taken some points here. Olaberia in 2nd place. Lambole also up there, getting involved in all the action. But if Kirsten Wild has taken the 5 points there, which she has, she's going to go ahead in with 186 points. Oh, it looks like it's been an incredible tussle. 4 sprints gone so far in this points race, as now we get the big attack here. So 4 out of the 10 sprints have gone, and this looks to me like it's Lotta Kopecky who is going on the attack. Remember, 20 points for the 20 points for the rider who takes a lap. And it looks to me like Lotta Kopecky could be taking a lap here. Well, she's making her way around this track now. And here are the standings. Kanawa now with 160, and Olaberia now moves into that place there with 159 in 3rd place. So we're right on the standings, but this rider now is looking to try and take the points if we possibly can, and is going to come up to the back of the race here. And it's Lotta Kopecky now who takes a lap. 20 points to Lotta Kopecky. Well, that will move her right up the standings now. She's the only rider here who has taken the lap. That was a fantastic attack by Lotta Kopecky. Just when the peloton had lulled a little, she went on the move, and it didn't take her long. Anna Kanawa right at the front there for Germany. 15 minutes of racing have gone by. Thanks to all of you who have joined me here for tonight's highlights and live coverage. You can join me on Twitter if you'd like to. @AntMcCrossan is the place to join me this evening if you want to ask any questions. But now the next sprint is going to come up here, and it's the Mexican rider who looks like Sofia Arreola, who's leading this one out. The familiar style of this rider, who rides for 2016, the team in the United States. But it looks like Pawlowska is going to be the rider who takes the points. Anna Kanawa in a photograph again for some points there to try and close up on Kirsten Wild. Sofia Arreola in third, and Balabalina. Big attack now going on, and it's New Zealand. So Anna Kanawa takes 3 points, moves on to 163. There's the replay there. So by my reckoning, the points are 186 to Wild, 163 to Anna Kanawa, Olaburia on 159, Mekias on 158. And we just need to understand the points of Lotta Kopecky, who of course took the 20 points. She scored some points earlier on in the elimination race. I'm just going to check her point standings, and we'll see where she has moved up to, as now we get a little bit of a move. It's still Kirsten Wild 186, Anna Kanawa 163, Olaburia 159, Mekias with 158. Frapporti's there in fifth with 154. And it's now the Lithuanian rider, and this looks like Trabaita, who is taking a little bit of a move. Amelie de Derrickson is also there, and Lambole of France, who won the elimination race, is also going across. So a very tough attack going in here. Wearing number 35 from Malaysia is Jufa Somnet. So 6 riders trying to break the will of the rest of the field. Kirsten Wild senses the danger. We'll just see exactly where she is. She is the current leader. There she is in the orange. And Kirsten Wild has clearly decided that her winter is focused on trying to win a medal in the World Championships on the track in the Omnium. She's been a great competitor so far in these Omnium competitions. Another counter-attack happening with 18 minutes of racing going. And the rider who is going on the move now is Raquel Sheath of New Zealand in the black. And she's been joined by one of the riders here from Spain, looks like Olaburia. Amelie de Derrickson is the rider who is going across. So 2 riders now on the move. De Derrickson is unable to go with this attack, and now we are heading towards the next points. Well, Olaburia is up on 159, so she will want the 5 points here. Raquel Sheath on the wheel, tucking in, nice and aerodynamic, just trying to stay there. De Derrickson trying to hold on for the 2 points for third place, but Olaburia will take the maximum points there and moves herself on to 164 and into a nice lead. She'll actually move, I think, now into second place, so it will be Kirsten Wild who took 1 point there on 187. Olaburia moves into second with 164, Anna Kanawa on 163. And there's confirmation of sprint number 6. Olaburia wins it, Sheath in second, De Derrickson in third, Wild in fourth place. And the points now, 187 for Wild, 164 for Olaburia, Anna Kanawa 163, and Marlies Mekias of Cuba. Here's the rundown of the rest of the riders: Balabalina, De Derrickson, Pawlowska. Right now, it is Kirsten Wild's race to lose. Well, it's been a furious chase all the way through the night. And it's all about the silver medal right now, unless Olivia can break away and take a lap on the rest of the field. Now another big attack at the front. And one rider going clear. Looks to me like it is the Australian rider, Elisa Wundersitz. She is a bronze medalist in the Omnium in the Oceania Championships, as she tries to go clear. Just trying to stretch this field out, who are absolutely flat out, lined out for the entire race. Cuban rider on the front, Mekias, being tailed there by Céline Lambelet of France. And now the pace goes out of the race. Ditherickson decides to go again. And thanks very much for all your messages this evening. Thanks to AJ Javier for your message, wherever you are in the world. Thanks to all of you for your messages, enjoying the racing. There's Caroline Ryan on the front. This Cali track really does change the racing a little bit. You can sometimes have a headwind down the finishing straight, and then it will swing around and you'll get a headwind going down the back straight. You can just never tell. It's quite odd for the riders. I remember talking to Joanna Rousel about it here in Cali, and she said it's really strange because track racing is quite clinical. You train in a track that you know you can ride 250 meters and you clock out the times, and you come to Cali and it can all go out the window totally. So the next sprint coming up, and it's Ditherickson at the front, Pawlowska in second, Lambelet in third place, and Raquel Sheath again in the photograph for the sprint. 22 minutes of racing completed. Ditherickson slowly and surely moving up the standings just a little bit, with an accumulation of more points. And here's the sprint. Looks like Pawlowska took the 5 points, 3 points for second. Lambelet in third with 2 points, and Raquel Sheath again scoring a few more points in this points race. There we are, confirmation of sprint number 7 as we see the American rider going on the move. Kirsten Wild still leading, 187. Olivia with 164. Anna Canal with 163. Mekias with 158. This is Elizabeth Newell now of the United States of America, making a charge off the front. Emily Ditherickson with 134 is further on down in the top 8 places. So Elizabeth Newell is the rider who has a little bit of daylight now between her and the rest of the field, and it looks like there's a possibility of this American rider taking a lap yet again on the rest of the field. So only Lotte Kopecky has done it so far, but it looks like we could see Elizabeth Newell doing the same thing, being urged on by the Cali crowd. Capacity crowd in here this evening. They really do love their bike racing here in Colombia. So many of the pro riders now, of course, leading the top Grand Tours, as she makes contact there with Caroline Ryan at the back, and Elizabeth Newell takes 20 points. Well, let's take a look through the field then. There is Anna Canauer at the front. She's the rider who is sitting in third place at the moment. Then the red and blue at the front is the Cuban rider. Mekias up the top is Caroline Ryan, a medalist previously in the World Championships. Maybe just feeling a little bit sore after that crash earlier on in the racing. But now the next sprint coming up. 5 points again for the winner. Sofia Areola is there in second place, And really powerful round this turn as Mekias comes out of turn 4 onto the track to take the line, and she takes the maximum points, 5 points to her. Areola takes 3, Anna Kanawa will score 2, and Raquel Sheath takes the 1 point, which means Anna Kanawa will leapfrog Olavarria again. So they're swapping places all the time. Still Kirsten Wield is the leader. And those of you just trying to work this one out, so the Omnium comes down now to the points race. There's confirmation. Wield leads 187, Anna Canal 165, Olavarria with 164, Mekias with 163. So it's very, very close between all those riders for the silver and bronze medal. But so far, Kirsten Wield has a lead, which means a rider has got to take a lap and also some points to take the overall victory. She has produced a great round of racing here in Cali in Colombia. Kirsten Wield doing the right thing here, keeping an eye on Anna Kanawa, just sitting on her wheel. As we see the attack again of Elisa Wundersitz. The attack now countered by Ozrin Trebaita of Lithuania in the red and yellow there at the front. This Australian team have got so many cards to play in different racing now. Pretty impressive to say you've used 11 different riders in the World Cups in the team pursuit and still win the gold medal here in Cali. Only certainly one rider who's not here this evening, I know some of you have messaged me about that, is Anna Mears. Anna Mears is at the Tour Down Under right now. She is making some personal appearances down there until we get to the World Championships. Her hair still growing back after her shaving it off during the winter months in Australia to raise some money for charity, a charity she holds very dear indeed. And Anna Mears, you couldn't really call her pixie-like, but she's got a pixie-like haircut right now. As we look at the front of the race, and Pawlowska, a little bit, maybe a little bit more rock chick, I suppose, short and spiky. As Caroline Ryan goes to the front now, wearing that aero hat to try and lead through. And the next sprint coming up, 28 minutes of racing covered. And it's Sofia Areola who's at the front. In second place is Olavarria. Looking around, Olavarria has been racing in Great Britain a lot in the Revolution Series. Kirsten Wield onto her wheel there. And Olavarria takes the sprint ahead of Wield. And there is confirmation. Chan Yung-hwan and Sofia Areola taking the points there, but Olavarria will move on to 169. Kirsten Wield will move on to 190, and only one sprint left, which means that it looks like the second place right now is going to Olavarria of Spain. Confirmation then, Kirsten Wield on 190, Olavarria 169, Anna Canal 165, Mekias dropping back a little bit, now on 163, but she's still got a chance here of taking the bronze medal away from Anna Kanawa. So a little bit dicey between those two riders as yet again Amelie Dith Eriksson of Denmark decides that she's going to go on the attack. So the Lithuanian rider, Trebaita, is the rider who immediately decides to counter and is looking to close up on this rider. You don't let this young rider go. We think about her attacks in Ponferrada, in Spain in the World Championships. So much pressure on her young shoulders to try and bring back back-to-back victories in the Junior World Championship road race, a feat which had also been done by Lucy Garner of Great Britain. But she was cool and calm and composed, and she still managed to bring home the gold medal just a few months ago. Lotte Kopecky now on the front. Has already taken one lap, looking to take another one. Sharing the pacemaking with Amelie de Theriksen. And they are starting to move away. I'm not entirely sure who Amelie de Theriksen is signing for on the road right now. I haven't seen any announcement of her joining a team. But if she does, she is certainly hot property as far as bike racing is concerned. You would want her in your team. There is no doubt about that. "31 minutes of racing in this final race of the night." Lotte Kopecky rides for the Top Sport Vlaanderen women's team. In that little group of 6 riders, the pace has gone very much out of this, and in just a couple of laps time we're going to head towards the final sprint. And Kirsten Wild, in fact here we are, we're coming up to it now, and it looks like Kirsten Wild is going to take a big win here in this World Cup. The attack there at the front comes from Hong Kong, China, with Dao Chao, who is going to lead this one out. Pawlowska in second place for Poland. Third place was the Russian rider, Balabalina. Anna Kanawa makes sure she scores some points, and she will move on to 166. But the winner of the women's Omnium this evening here in Cali is Kirsten Wild. Fantastic performance from her. And Kirsten Wild punching the air. She's extremely pleased with that. She's learning how to ride this Omnium all the time. And with an average speed of 47 kilometers an hour in the final race of the competition, you can see just how hard fought that one was. Final confirmation then of the standings. Kirsten Wild wins 190 points. Ola Beria second with 169. And the bronze medal will go to the German rider Anna Kanawa. There's the rundown of the top 8. And following that, the rundown of the top 16 with Raquel Sheath in 9th, Rabaita in 10th. Lotte Kopecky taking a lap to finish in 11th place. Emily Kay of Great Britain finishes in 18th, and Elisa Wundersitz of Australia down there in 21st place. So Kirsten Wild will enjoy this one. She's so powerful. But she's learning now how to ride this Omnium competition, which is fantastic to see. When we get to the World Championships in Paris, I think we're going to see some real tussles when we get Laura Trott, Jolien Dora, and all the other riders there on the track in Paris in this magnificent new stadium that we're going to go to. We're going to turn our attention then back to the men's sprint. We're going to bring you that live. Remember, in the last round, we saw Jeffrey Hoogland defeat Maximilian Levy, and we saw Fabian Puerta of Colombia make a little bit of a mistake, and Denis Dimitriev went 1-0 up for Russ Velo to lead into the second round. Men sprinting, of course, 3 laps of the track. And it's best of 3 contests. There's Fabian Puerta making his way onto the seat to get ready, keeping his legs nice and warm, putting his Columbia track top over the legs that have been warmed up there in the center of the track on the rollers. You can tell just how warm it is here in Cali. Everyone in their shorts, nice and humid. The flip-flops are out, and everyone enjoying the atmosphere here. This then to go through to the final of the men's sprint. Thanks to all of you for joining me at @McCrossan on Twitter. If you would like to send any messages this evening, and the Track World Cups have got a lot of importance because you qualify your place for the World Championships and the Olympic Games. You may have seen a little bit of an interview with Mark Cavendish really a couple of weeks ago, saying that he can't spend enough time on the track, so he can't qualify for the Olympic Games. You've got to devote some time, which is what Kirsten Wild here is doing. So the music in the background accompanying these two riders, it is Jeffrey Hoogland, the winner of the gold medal in London, against this man on the front, Maximilian Levy. And the crowd are getting into it, very much so. They do like their dancing over here, though. They will dance in the aisles if they feel like it. Maximilian Levy, he has the background here. Silver medalist here on the Cali track in the World Championships with Rennie Enders, Robert Forsterman in the men's team sprint. So he knows this track. He's ridden here many, many times. But Jeffrey Hoogland, I guess right now is the young pretender as far as sprinting is going. And he looks to me to be on tremendous form as he dives down the banking. He's gone very, very early, but one lap to go. He's going to pursue his way to the finish here. Here we go. The attack here of Jeffrey Hoogland. Levy working hard. Is he going to get there? The answer is no. Jeffrey Hoogland dismisses Maximilian Levy, and it's going to be Hoogland in the final against either Dmitriev or Puerta for the gold medal. Here's the replay then. Hoogland getting his tactics absolutely perfect. Looking across the track centre there. And a hive of activity as usual as the crowd make their way around. Some of them deciding to go and stand at the either end of the banking to get a good glimpse of this man, Fabian Puerta. Right, he's got to get his tactics right here. And now the crowd are going to try and urge him on to get into the decider against Denis Dmitriev there in the red and white. Dmitriev 1-0 up. Concentration there on Dmitriev's face as he gets ready. Can he dismiss Fabian Puerta? (1-0) to Dmitriev. He has to lead off here. Fabian Puerta, the leader of the World Cup. So Puerta this time deciding to go up the track here. A little bit of a standstill almost. Dmitriev will be feeling confident riding for this Russ Velo team. He knows he just has to get this one right and he'll be in the final and he'll silence the Cali crowd. This is the scene of where I think I saw one of the best points races ever on the track, and now Puerta goes to the bottom of the track here. He's dicing around a little bit, holding up the line, but he's just all over the place. I think maybe he's just got the adrenaline rushing a little bit much in front of this home crowd. Dmitriev right on the wheel now as Puerta opens this one up. The crowd going pretty wild now as Dmitriev has to get into the slipstream, and he is working hard here, but Puerta has the advantage. Fabian Puerta, Dmitriev challenging on the outside. Is he going to get it? Oh, it's a photograph, but it looked to me like Dmitriev managed to squeeze through on the outside there. But let's just see the results of the photograph. Dmitriev used turn 4, slinging himself out of it and managing, I think, to use the power. Here we go. Going high around that top banking, working hard here. Did he get there in time, or did Puerta hold him off? That camera's not quite on the finish line, unfortunately. Here we go. Who gets it? Well, it looks like Dmitriev dismisses the Colombian. We'll get final confirmation on the screen. And there we are. It is Dmitriev who wins that one in 10.360. 0.006 ahead of Fabian Puerta, and so it will be Dmitriev versus Hoogland in the final. So we're looking here at the men's keirin. There's Kamil Kaczynski. Luis Oliva of Great Britain. And this is Yuta Wakimoto. This is the 7th to 12th place final of the men's keirin. And in here from Australia, Emerson Harwood. The Japanese rider is Yuta Wakimoto, and the gun goes off very loudly, almost deafening the riders. And onto the wheel immediately goes the Australian rider, Emerson Harwood. Luis Oliva of Great Britain on the outside. Been asked about the British riders. You have a smaller team here from Great Britain this time. Choosing only to send a slightly smaller team because of the travel and everything else. Riders who still need points, as we see the Japanese rider here hitting the front. Watanabe is the rider who is right there at the front here. And on the back is the Polish rider, but going round the outside is the Malaysian, Josiah Ung. But still the Japanese rider, Wakimoto, is the leader. Luis Oliva trying to find a little bit of a gap, but suddenly the Polish rider, Kamil Kaczynski, is the rider who has gone round the outside. He was right at the back. He takes the win. He takes the 7th place in the men's keirin. Photograph between Wakimoto, Watanabe and Luis Oliva for the places. Well, Well, this is the final then of the men's keirin. A great lineup. Some of you asking about the reason of the qualification of these riders. Right now, the rules of racing for track racing means that you have to ride the Track World Cups, or you can't qualify for the World Championships or the Olympic Games. There are some other UCI races that you can qualify some points in, but in order to ride on the track in the World Championships or the Olympic Games, you've got to have accumulated sufficient points for you personally to qualify for those championships and games. It used to be that a nation could qualify a set number of places and then decide which riders would actually ride the races. Now, there's some that agree with the new changes and some that disagree, as is normal with this kind of situation. But that's the rules as they stand right now. They could change, they may stay as they are. But just to keep you up to date so you know exactly why these World Cups right now are very, very important for some of these riders. So this is the final, and Fabian Puerta of Colombia is in here, Maximilian Levy of Germany, Christos Volikakis is the rider there in the blue from Greece, Shane Perkins of Jayco, the Australian rider, Simon van Veldhoven of New Zealand, and Matthew Baranowski. They are the riders who are in here, who are competing for this medal in the men's keirin. Now, when we were here in Cali, it was Francois Pervis who was the winner in Cali in Colombia earlier on in the year. Fabian Puerta took the silver, Matthias Buckley took the bronze. There was actually a crash in the one of the previous rounds that took down Francois Pervis, which is why he is not here right now in this final. So leading on the back of the Derny bike right now is the Jayco rider, Shane Perkins, a tremendous track rider. Simon van Veldhoven sitting on the wheel here of Shane Perkins. Behind them is Puerta, and then Levy, the American rider Matthew Baranowski sitting fifth wheel, and the Greek rider is Volikakis sitting on the back. Who is going to take this victory in the men's keirin this evening? With 2 and a bit laps to go, the motorbike there on the front will peel off, and then it will be all about the sprint. Perkins, the 2011 world champion. Fabian Puerta, the silver medalist in the keirin here on this track in 2014. Now the bike is going to peel off, and it does so, and Perkins goes to the front, but immediately Fabian Puerta decides to hit the front. He looks around, Perkins is on the wheel, Volikakis goes out the outside on the blue, Baranowski is going shoulder to shoulder with Puerta, who just nudges up the track a little bit. Shane Perkins dives on the inside here, 2 laps to go, and here we go. It's Puerta who hits the front with 1 lap to go, and he's now going to ignite and try and take home the victory. This is going to put the crowd on their feet. Perkins is challenging him, and they're right on the line. Whoa, it looked to me like Puerta just held off Shane Perkins to take the gold medal, but only by the width of about a tyre. Here we go then, Perkins, the 2011 champion in the World Championships, was working hard. Puerta just had the advantage as they move their way towards the line. Who gets it? It's so close. Here's the photograph, and can you separate them? Well, look at that. Fabian Puerta wins the men's keirin by about the width of a tyre. The crowd go absolutely nuts. Well, that was such a close photograph between them, but there we are, there's your podium. Fabian Puerta. Shane Perkins takes the silver for Australia, riding for Jayco, and Baranowski took the third place there. We're going to move on then to the men's sprint. And we're live then with this, with Shane Perkins of Australia, riding for Jayco, Patrick Constable. Zielinski is also in here as we get a little look here at the pick, and Perkins gets number 1. Drawing lots to decide who goes where. Onto the track then. And this is the lineup then. Shane Perkins in the green and yellow there with the Jayco on. So if you're trying to pick out the two Australians, Perkins has more black on the kit. There he is, just fiddling with the straps that keep those shoes nice and tightly in. The Colombian rider there is Anderson Parra. Very famous name, Parra. Who remembers Fabio Parra for Café de Colombia, riding the likes of the Tour de France. There's Patrick Constable of Australia making his way onto the track. I'm liking these handlebars that the Australians now have got on these bikes. They look very, very aero indeed. All the little trick bits that are starting to come out, ready for the World Championships, being tested. Anderson Parra getting a last little bit of instruction. So 4 riders, the 5th to 8th places, again important for points. Shane Perkins with that magnificent design on that helmet that he wears. And always difficult when you've got 4 riders on the track to get your tactics absolutely right. But this is a points race for these riders, and it's also a little bit of a morale booster, of course. Selection for the World Championships, always very, very important at this time of year. We're only a month away now from the big World Championship. And the first attack comes from Patrick Constable of Australia. He's going to hit the line with 1 lap to go, with daylight between him and Parra. Perkins hanging back just a little bit, staying in the slipstream, using that drag nicely to get into the wheel. But it's still Constable who leads. He has got the pace to go all the way to the line. He takes the 5th place. That was a superb sprint there by Patrick Constable. He had the measure of the rest of the riders. He will take 5th place, Parra 6th, Perkins 7th, and it's Zielinski who takes the 8th place. Here's a replay of Constable really powering his way to the line. Great cadence right on the front of the saddle, looking good in the turns, and he hits the line there to take 5th place. Here we are, the slow motion hitting the line ahead of Parra. There's confirmation of the result then. Patrick Constable 5th, Parra in 6th place, and the rundown of the rest. Fast and furious as we swap around again. This is the women's keirin, which is coming up. This is the 2nd round of the competition. The first 3 riders in each heat qualify for the final, and the others go through to the rest of the placings for 7th to 12th. Heat number 1 then, And in this heat we have Caitlin Ward of Australia, Junhong Lin of China, there in the red and yellow, Juliana Gaviria of Colombia, Wai-Chu Lee, who's a bronze medalist in the in the Olympic Games in the keirin, there she is, the number 206, Melissa Erickson of the United States of America, and Fataha Mustafa, who is riding here for her trade team, who will be in the green colours. There she is, wearing number 337. Good question actually from one of you about keirin riders coming from Japan. Are they coming from the keirin ranks? It's interesting, isn't it, that keirin racing in Japan is so huge, and yet we don't see a world champion in the keirin yet coming through. I think I've said before on maybe one of the other World Cups, I was lucky enough to go to Tokyo round about the time of the Saitama Criterium, and I was very lucky to be taken by the Japanese Keirin Association to one of the track meetings in one of the velodromes, one of the 40 velodromes, 40, that they have in Tokyo and the surrounding areas in Japan, and saw the setup of keirin racing, which was absolutely incredible. And they're working hard to try and find a world champion of the keirin, but it's so different over there. It's on 400-meter tracks. The betting and the gambling around it is so huge. The tactics are very, very different. But riders who go over there and learn keirin racing from the Japanese seem to be even better, or when they come back. The likes of Becky James of Great Britain, who went over there and rode so well. Shane Perkins, another rider who has ridden the keirin circuit. He did very well over there apparently. Chris Hoy also went over and learnt the keirin craft too. But I'm sure we're going to see a Japanese rider win the keirin World Championship or the Olympic Games at some point. There's a real link up between the Japanese Keirin Association and funding racing in Japan to make sure that the Japanese riders can actually race the international circuit. In fact, they were with us in London at the Track World Cup, the representatives of the Keirin Association. So if you ever get the chance, if you're ever in Japan, I know it's a wonderful country to go to, do go and try and see a keirin race. It's very, very different, and it's got so much culture about it. It is a stunning night out. I had an absolutely fantastic time. Well, let's turn our attention to this race then. And it is, of course, the heat number 1 of the women's keirin. Second rounds, 8 laps of the track. The motorbike will peel off. That's another difference in the keirin racing in Japan. You have a rider on a bike, not a motorbike. And they generally pull off when they feel the race is up to tempo, not at a fixed point, which is a little bit different. So it's the Colombian rider, Juliana Gaviria, who is sitting there. You can pick her out. The long dark hair flowing down her back there. She never tucks it in the helmet. She just lets it go as normal down her back. Second place there, sitting on the wheel, is the rider from Hong Kong, China, Wai-Chu Lee. Behind her in the green is Fataha Mustafa. In 4th place, Junhong Lin of China. Caitlin Ward sitting right at the back for Australia. I know a lot of Australian fans like to watch this racing here from the World Cups. So great to see the Australians with so many young riders coming through. Whatever you're doing in Australia's working right now, we are seeing some incredible talent. Must admit, when I saw Macy Stewart in the World Championships, that is a star rider for the future, there's no doubt about that. Caitlin Ward right on cue, moving up on the outside as the motorbike peels off. So she's looking to put herself into the final here. Looks around to see Juliana Gaviria in second wheel. as the Chinese rider now, Jun Hongling, goes to the front. She has an advantage now. The Australian rider, Caitlin Ward, trying to get on the wheel of the American rider. Melissa Eriksson in second place. So it looks like these two riders are going to race away. Jun Hongling has the lead. Eriksson in second place. Caitlin Ward losing a little bit of tempo, but fighting hard to try and stay in here with a chance of going through to the final. And it is a tussle between those two. I couldn't quite see if Caitlin Ward got through. I think she's in the photograph with Wai Chu Lee, but Eriksson and Jun Hongling are certainly into the final. And then it is a photograph for the third place, and that is between Caitlin Ward and Wai Chu Lee. Juliana Gaviria of Colombia was in fifth place. Well, let's see if we get the confirmation of who is going to be in the third place. Here's the tussle for the first places. Jun Hongling fighting hard. Melissa Eriksson looking strong there as they go for the line. Who gets the third place though? There's the first two. And it looks like Caitlin Ward will go through to the final for Australia. Heat number 2 then coming up, and this one has got some great riders in it as well. Monique Sullivan of Canada, Lysandra Guerra, there she is in the red. Monique Sullivan picks number 5. Lysandra Guerra takes 2. The Russian rider. Ekaterina Nedenko, number 297. The rider from the Netherlands is Shana Braspanix, and the Spanish rider Tanya Calvo making their way onto the track. So Ekaterina Nedenko has been on form recently, got a bronze medal in London in the Track World Cup in the women's team sprint. She was paired with Anastasia Voinova. Shana Braspanix there doing up her toe straps. Riding for the Netherlands. She's been twice an under-23 European champion. She makes her way now onto the track to line up alongside Monique Sullivan. This is the Spanish rider, Tanya Calvo, getting ready. Monique Sullivan alongside. Tanya Calvo, a national 500-metre time trial champion. There is Shana Braspanix. I think I'm right in saying she's got a degree in marketing. There's Ekaterina Nedenko. All the lights have gone out. And the thunderstorms are about to happen. I tell you, here in Cali, it can totally change. Suddenly, you can go from warm, humid conditions to the rain pouring down. And in fact, if the storm's too bad and the wind's in the right direction, it can blow onto the track. Let's hope that doesn't happen here. Xuan Guo is the World Cup leader, but the lights have gone out with this thunderstorm. In fact, they've just coming back on again now, and the riders are just going to ride around the track until we just double check everything is okay. It's so different riding here. Thanks to Luc Prévost for sending me information about Francois Purvis. In fact, many of the riders who've been to the Keirin school over in Japan do say that they come out as a faster, stronger, more mentally attuned rider by being there. Interestingly, that when I was there in I think it was October. Yeah, it was October. Becky James, they love her there. She won every single race she rode. Chris Hoy, they said, learned a lot and came out as a better Keirin rider. And of course, won the Olympic Games maybe as a result. And Purvis certainly has become a better Keirin rider because It's all about the discipline of riding a keirin in Japan. When you're riding a competition, you are put into dormitories 2 days before the competition. You're not allowed any contact with the outside world. You have your mobile phone is taken away, and you're pretty much put in confinement from the outside world. Then you go into competition, and during the period of competition, for the half an hour leading up to the race, you are not allowed to speak to anyone other than the competitors that you're up against. Here is Puerta. A few little highlights of what's going on. And you're in one room with the rest of the competitors. It's so disciplined, so different, and maybe it makes everyone a much better rider. Being reminded that Ross Edgar and Craig McLean also went to Japan for keirin racing. Absolutely true. And the Japanese keirin riders remember both of them being there and riding very, very well in the keirin racing. So we'll leave you with some sights and sounds for a second while we get the power back on here in the track. So just to update you on what's coming up after this, we will bring in the men's sprint finals. We then move on to the women's sprint, then the women's team sprint. We'll bring you the highlights of that. The men's omnium will bring you the final of the men's omnium. We'll bring you the men's team pursuit, the women's keirin, and then the final award ceremonies of the night. So lots more action to come here from Cali in Colombia, as we just see a few riders just warming up on the rollers in the center of the track. So outside here, when you go outside the track, all the food stalls, the atmosphere is absolutely fantastic here in Cali. You can still hear the ripples of thunder all around this velodrome. I've seen quite a few thunderstorms here in Cali, and they're pretty electric as far as they just suddenly, you see the clouds just coming in, it goes absolutely dark, and then it's pretty noisy and it echoes all the way around this velodrome. Well, we're now firmly in the Olympic cycle as the riders get thoughts of Rio 2016. And as that starts to happen, you can see, I mentioned a moment ago, the new little bits of equipment, the slight changes in bikes. And it looks to me like the storm is going over. And yes, a torch would be good right now. Well, this velodrome had a little bit of altitude. Cali's an interesting place. Some people say it's a little bit dangerous to be at, but to be honest, when I've been wandering around in Cali, it's like any normal city. Food is absolutely fantastic. The people are really friendly, and they like their salsa dancing if that's what you're into. There's Dmitriev just enjoying some music. Turning the pedals over, keeping those legs nicely warmed up. A little bit of a delay in the next race. Mechanics working hard in the center of the track, getting everything ready. Well, it's nice to hear from so many of you who've taken the time to message in tonight at @McCrossan if you would like to join me on Twitter. A few friends I recognise on Twitter and a few new people who have decided to ask a few questions and to join in. John Curtis was asking the Cali track, is it a tight, narrow oval more than a UK velodrome? It's funny, this track, in terms of just what it's like to ride. I think if you liken it to another track, it's probably a little bit more like the Glasgow velodrome than it is the Manchester velodrome. But it's a very, very nice track to race on. The challenge you have with it is the fact that it is open on all sides. Therefore, the weather conditions do totally affect the racing, and that's what's going on right now. It's similar to Glasgow in that the middle of the track is right low down compared to the track itself. The Soigneurs having to work a little bit hard right now to keep the legs of these riders nice and warm before they get back on the track for racing. Now, don't forget, if you want information on the Track World Championships, all these World Cups, you can go to uci.ch. That is the place to go to update yourself. And that's where you can get all the results, all the information. Well, this thunderstorm is still crashing around us here in Cali. But the salsa music is on. And everyone's just composing themselves until the racing can be safely underway again. The reason right now for the racing not happening is the commissaires, the judges, are a little bit worried about the fact that this thunderstorm is in full flow, and the wind is in a direction that means it can blow onto the track a little, and they don't want any wet boards for riders to have a problem. Nice aerodynamic chain set on that bike. Thanks to those of you giving me a little bit of info on some of the other tracks around the world. Apparently this track is quite similar to the Perth Speed Dome. I don't know that track too well. I've not been there, unfortunately. I'd love to go and see some of the Australian tracks. But certainly in terms of tracks I've seen, it very much reminds me of the Glasgow Velodrome, designed of course by Sir Chris Hoy. Just in terms of the contours of it, kind of slings you out of turn 2, takes you up the banking a little bit. That's why when we saw Kirsten Wheel trying to hold the bike down the banking, quite difficult to do. Being reminded, of course, that the new track is open in Canada, in Ontario. We should have a World Cup there, shouldn't we, at some point, I'm sure. Shana Braspanex just keeping the legs turning over, trying to keep nice and warm. And those of you who've not been to a track or you're just wondering what else goes on the track centre, here's one of the riders, or one of the riders just looking through their power and split times. Now in the track you have sports scientists who actually stand in one particular area of the track and they film all the racing, and then the coaches also download from the power meters on these bikes, all the information. So they're able to give the riders instant feedback. They can give them as much information as they possibly can. They can show them the film of their last race, and they can also make sure that they give them all their power data that relates to the last race as well. We've been told that we're going to have about 7 minutes to the restart of the racing. So talk amongst yourselves. Go and make a cup of tea or coffee if you'd like to. If you'd like something stronger, that's totally up to you. And if you would like to get involved in a question session, now's your time. Tweet me at @McCrossan and we'll go through some questions. Who knows what subjects we might cover now. But we've got about 7 minutes till the restart. There's Lyra Olaberia there on the right hand side, talking to Caroline Ryan on the left. We think the thunderstorm will be firmly away from the velodrome in about 7 minutes time. So tweet me if you'd like to at @McCrossan. Make yourself a cup of tea or coffee, something stronger if it's that time of day, and just get ready for the racing to happen, which of course will be the women's keirin, the second round. We'll be bringing you that as soon as we possibly can. Well, I must admit, the team from Ireland, the last few years I've seen them developing and growing all the time. They have absolutely no track in Ireland at all. They do all their training in Mallorca, but they have gone from a couple of riders to a very, very good squad. The trailblazers of the likes of Caroline Ryan and Martin Irvine have now ensured they have motivated a great bunch of riders. And they have now more and more talent coming through, much more strength in depth. And when they eventually get their own velodrome in Ireland, then I think we're going to see Ireland become stronger and stronger. Nice smiles here in the United States of America camp. Thanks for the questions that are coming through on Twitter now. Here's the commissaires who are just checking the track is okay for racing. They're just worried a little bit of slippy track. What's my favourite looking bikes? The Fez ones are very, very nice. I must admit right now, if you look at the bike of the bike that Shane Perkins is on, that looks like a fantastic bike right now. One of the Australian bikes. The rain is still pouring down here. But so far, the rain, as you can see, the wind's not blowing too hard, which means the rain is not coming across the track, which is fantastic news. When we were here for the World Championships, I think a couple of years ago, or a year ago when we were here, we had one day of training where the rain absolutely poured down and the wind was pointing in the right direction. It came right across the track and absolutely soaked the place. Just been reminded of the outdoor track in Ireland, but no indoor track for the winter time. But everyone in Ireland would like to have an indoor track. So as you do in Colombia, when the racing isn't on, the salsa goes on, and everyone is getting in party mood to get everything happening. There's a Katerina Nadenko, the Russian rider. You notice she's one of the riders who never wears the visor on the helmet. She likes to just wear a normal helmet when she's racing. And a reminder, she'll be up against Monique Sullivan, Lysandra Guerra, Tanya Calvo, Shuang Guo, Shana Braspanex will be the riders who will be in this heat number 2. It has been pretty hot in Cali over the last few days, and the humidity just before this thunderstorm was starting to be a little bit too much, and then suddenly, as is normal, it absolutely crashes down with thunder and lightning, and then everything calms down. So the weather conditions and the racing conditions now will be significantly different to half an hour ago. A few questions about the Dutch team right now. What do we think of the performances of the young Dutch team? I must admit, Shana Braspanex and Elise Litley have been the 2 riders who are starting to really sparkle for this Dutch team. Elise Litley is becoming a very, very good sprinter indeed. I've seen her race in Great Britain a lot in the Revolution series. She's been riding those all winter. Oh, smiles from Ireland. And Shana Braspanex is another rider who is really starting to shine too. So I think this the Dutch women are certainly looking strong. Kirsten Wild is helping. But also the Dutch team, the men, Jeffrey Hoogland's looking pretty impressive now. Matthias Buckley, of course. I think we're in for a pretty exciting round of World Championships in France. There's the Australian camp. There's Katarzyna Pawlowska wandering away. Bit of a Mexican wave going on around the track now. She looks a bit embarrassed. But the Australians don't, do they? They're quite happy. That's not chocolate she's eating, is it? Can't be. Just a few minutes then, hopefully, until we get this racing back and underway. If you've just joined us now, the reason for it is we had a massive thunderstorm here in Cali. And because the Cali Velodrome, Mexican waves are going on, capacity crowd. It's a big velodrome actually. You can see really banks up the seating, and when everyone gets going, the noise is absolutely tremendous. Well, those of you who are just joining us now, the walls of the Cali Velodrome are non-existent. It's all open to the elements. It's just this great roof which keeps everyone dry. We had a big thunderstorm, and we're just waiting for the racing to get underway again. But in the meantime, we're getting a chance to go around here in the track centre and say hello to everybody, which is always good. Yeah, I'm just been reminded about the proposals for a possible indoor velodrome in Ireland. If that gets built, it's going to be fantastic. Alessandra Guerra, there she is in the red and blue, former pupil of the UCI Sprint School in Aigle in Switzerland. Don't forget, Rowan Dennis will be trying to break the world hour record in Switzerland on the 8th of February. Look out for live streaming of that record. He'll actually be racing in Grenchen as opposed to Aigle, where Matthias Brentler beat the world hour record. The next rider, of course, to go for it is Jack Bowbridge. She's having a good time, isn't she? Look at that. She's up for a party. Matthias Brentler was the rider who beat it in Aigle, but it's a 200-meter track there. So Rowan Dennis will be in Grenchen, the same track that Jens Vogt beat the hour record in, and started off this big wave of people going for the world hour record. There's a New Zealand team pointed at the camera, wondering whether they should wave. Right, we're almost ready then. Here we go. We're going to get these riders back out on the track and we're going to get the racing underway. Just to remind you then, this is the women's keirin, the second round. We've had a delay of around about 10, maybe 15 minutes. Thanks to all of you keeping me company as we bring you this coverage of this racing, and thanks for all your questions to just cover that little gap. Right, we're back on the track then. One big fan of women's cycling is Sarah Connolly. She's watching tonight and tweeting away. There's a Katerina Nadenko. Alongside her is Alessandra Guerra. There's Guerra getting ready now. And on the inside of the track, Xuan Guo, a rider with a magnificent palmares, getting ready for this keirin race. 3 riders will go through to the next round. Xuan Guo, 28 years of age, the keirin world champion in 2009. And now we are back and racing. Here we go. Who's going to go through? Xuan Guo immediately, the World Cup leader there, all in white, goes to the back of the bike. Monique Sullivan, however, overtakes and gets right onto the back of the bike there. Xuan Guo in second place. Behind her is a Katerina Nadenko. One of the coaches just pointing, I'm not sure why. There's a little bit of an issue or a problem here. I don't think so. Alessandra Guerra going up the track. So Monique Sullivan in second wheel, on the first wheel. Xuan Guo in second wheel. Katerina Nadenko in third. Behind her from Spain, Tania Calvo, a 500-meter time trial national champion. Shanna Braspanix, the European under-23 champion on 2 occasions. Alessandra Guerra at the back, a World Championship medalist, a former pupil of the UCI Sprint School in Aigle in Switzerland. Monique Sullivan with the little power meter underneath the saddle, recording all the data. 5 laps to go. The speed going up. It goes up to around about 50 kilometers an hour. And then the bike peels off with 2.5 laps to go. Then it's a big sprint for the line. Sullivan with the all-enclosed aero helmet on, sitting there looking around. Xuan Guo leaving a little bit of a gap, as Victoria Pendleton explained to me. The second place rider does that to just use the drag of the rider in front, the funnel effect of the slipstream, so she can use it to accelerate into at the right time, not to try and entice riders into second place. She's looking to just use that as a drag race into the slipstream. Nedenko made a little bit of a mistake there as the rider at the front hits. 1 lap to go. Tania Calvo now of Spain, followed by Xuan Guo. Likes the bumping and barging. Xuan Guo going round the outside. Tania Calvo doesn't look to have the speed. Nedenko onto the wheel of Xuan Guo, who has got the power to go away. She will take it. Second place will be Nedenko. It looked to me like Braspanix was in third, and she was. Photographed for fourth and fifth, and Guerra was behind there in sixth place. So Xuan Guo, Nedenko and Braspanix will be the 3 riders who will go through safely to the next round. Here's the replay. Xuan Guo had the acceleration all the way through that race. No one even challenged her. She had the advantage on everyone from the start. Wins it by about 2, maybe 3 bike lengths at the finish line, ahead of Nedenko. Thank you very much to all of you for joining me as we move on now to the men's sprint, and this is the finals. We've seen already the qualification earlier on today, and we are looking now at the men's sprint final, the ride-off for the bronze medal between Maximilian Levy and Fabian Puerta. Jeffrey Hoogland and Denis Dimitriev will be riding for the gold medal this evening. As the keirin riders come off the track, we see the men's sprint riders getting ready. Fabian Puerta, a little bit of his knees taped up there with the kinetic tape just to hold the kneecaps in line by the looks of things. So much power goes through these riders' legs. Little niggling injuries just sometimes need a little bit of structural assistance. Maximilian Levy now making his way onto the track. If you look closely, you can see the little aerodynamic touches on that aero speed suit that he's wearing. Best of 3 rides then to decide the bronze medal. The crowd dearly want to see Fabian Puerta take home the bronze medal now. So they're underway. Maximilian Levy at the front, powerful rider, one of the mainstays of the team sprint. If we look closely at some of the equipment that's being used here, let's take a little look, see if anyone's got any trick kit. Nice bike there, very stealth-like. Fabian Puerta. Maximilian Levy wearing, as you can see, quite long socks, and they look to me like they are a material that's not the normal sock material. Looks to me like some sort of speed aero type kit, as Fabian Puerta decides to go on the acceleration from a long way out, with Levy, the rider, who was doing the standstill there. So all the little bits of aerodynamic advantage being used by these riders as we head towards the World Championships. Fabian Puerta having to dice and duck a little bit as we see Maximilian Levy is all over the track here, trying to find a little bit more acceleration out the bike. He goes high. Fabian Puerta dives down, goes inside the red line. Maximilian Levy into the slipstream. So he is now being sucked along as they head towards the finish line. Fabian Puerta, though, has the speed. He wins that one. He goes 1-0 up. Fabian Puerta wins that one, 0.080 ahead of Levy. And there's the replay. On to the gold medal ride then. And Jeffrey Hoogland looking to repeat his performance in London, but Denis Dmitriev is not going to have any of that. Dmitriev was the bronze medalist here in Cali in the World Championships. The men's sprint, of course, was won by Francois Pervis. Stefan Botticher of Germany was in second, and Denis Dmitriev took the bronze medal. The championships held between the 26th of February and the 2nd of March. Jeffrey Hoogland then getting himself ready. Denis Dmitriev going out onto the track. Both these riders are wearing the full visors and the all-enclosed helmets. Carbon fibre aero 5-bladed spoked wheels on the front of both these bikes. Disc wheels on the back. Slightly different design for Hoogland, I think. On the front wheel, I think they're both riding the same back wheel by the looks of things. Actually, maybe not. Slightly different carbon fibre wheel on the bike of Hoogland. And as you can see, an all-enclosed front chainring for Dmitriev to get a little bit more aerodynamics. This is going to be a little bit of a cagey one. Dmitriev knows that Hoogland right now is the rider on form. He's looking very, very fast. Three laps to go. Dmitriev out the saddle, Hoogland just staying close. He likes to just mess around a little bit. He likes to accelerate off a fast pace. He won't let Dmitriev stall him too much. Hoogland now goes to the front. And Dmitriev's going to have to work really, really hard here. But Dmitriev uses that final turn very, very well. He's kind of got a technique that slings him into the final turn. And Hoogland now is going to have to work hard to hold off the Russian. Here he goes, Dmitriev looking really fast, heading to the finish line, and Dmitriev takes that one 1-0 to the rider from Rusvelo. Dmitriev has got his tactics right there against Hoogland, who's going to have to go back into the track centre and work this one out to try and take the gold medal. Yeah, I think you're right, Tim Janssen. Both these riders on the same wheels. I wasn't sure that Hoogland didn't have a slightly different design, not quite as sleek as Dmitriev's, but actually is purely the tyres that are slightly different. So it's 1-0 to Dmitriev, 1-0 to Puerta after the first round of the sprinting. We're going to turn our attention now back to the women's sprint, I think, in a second, and bring you some highlights of what happened in the women's sprint. Here we go. So the women's sprint competition. Three laps to go in this contest here. And it's wide Shirley against Sandy Claire of France. As they go high on the banking, wide Shirley, the bronze medalist in the keirin in London 2012. As they sprint side by side now, and it's Sandy Claire looking to get onto the wheel of wide Shirley, is looking very, very quick here. These two riders going flat out, Sandy Claire challenging but unable to get on terms with wide Shirley. And she takes that victory against the French rider. And now we have Alice Litley of the Netherlands against Xuan Guo, riding for her trade team. And it's Alice Litley who has been riding extremely well. The bronze medalist in the World Cup in London. Can she now take a gold medal? Xuan Guo looking around. Alice Litley, taller rider. Xuan Guo, 28 years of age now. Alice Litley just emerging now as a very talented bike rider. Starting to get stronger all the time. Xuan Guo opens up the gas first, but Litley has the power. She knows she needs to go to the front first, and she does. So she's going to try and take the advantage round the outside. Litley takes it, and that is a stunning performance against the might of Xuan Guo. So, 1-0 to Alice Litley, 1-0 to White Chu Li, and this is the second race. Sandy Claire of France leading off. She was 0.075 of a second down on White Chu Li of Hong Kong, China in the red. Sandy Claire will be hoping for a strong performance in the World Championships in her home country. Can she get her tactics right here to go 1-all against Wai Chu Li? She's deciding to go for the standstill here, and she manages to maneuver Wai Chu Li into first place. A great standstill there by Sandy Claire. Côte d'Azur very small here in Cali, as you can see. The blue area at the bottom of the track. All these bikes are examined before the races. The judges have a jig in the middle of the track, and they weigh the bikes. They've got to be more than 6.8 kilos, and they also put them on a jig as far as dimensions and everything are concerned. So technically they have to adhere to the rules absolutely perfectly. Here we go then. Sandy Claire goes to the front, but she doesn't look to take the initiative. That was an interesting little turn there, and now she's going to try and accelerate off a slower pace to try and hurt the legs here of Wai Chu Li. However, she has the acceleration. A fantastic sprint by Wai Chu Li of Hong Kong, China. And she goes 2-0 up, so she takes the bronze medal here in Cali in this World Cup. We turn our attention back then to the sprint for the gold medal. Alice Litley of the Netherlands, 1-0 up against Xuan Guo. Well, if she dismisses Xuan Guo, this is a big turn up for the books, because Xuan Guo is an incredible sprinter, but Alice Litley so far is refusing to let Xuan Guo dominate. What does Litley have in her mind here to try and beat this rider who's got such an impressive palmarès, had so many tussles with Anna Mears and Victoria Pendleton, but Alice Litley at the moment looks to be a rider who is on a trajectory for a possible medal in the World Championships. She beat Xuan Guo by 0.184 in the first race. But if you were going to bet on this one, you'd say that Xuan Guo would go 1-all and take this to a decider. Litley is going to have to produce a sparkling performance here to dismiss Xuan Guo and take the gold. Constantly looking round, keeping an eye on the Chinese rider, and now the pace starts to go in. Xuan Guo right in the slipstream, goes to the top of the track to get a bit of height to accelerate hard. Litley is not letting the dominance normally of Xuan Guo go to her head at all. Now they're going to go shoulder to shoulder. Look at this, Xuan Guo. Oh, they're almost touching elbows. Litley somehow holds off Xuan Guo. What an impressive sprint. Well, she's a young rider, but look at that. The joy now flowing out of Alice Litley. That was a very, very impressive sprint. Look at this. She holds off Xuan Guo. And then when Xuan Guo does her usual thing, which is get as close as you possibly can and then overtake and dominate the rider, you can see she just moves a little bit. She always does that. It's to give you that little bit of a worry that you're going to crash, and Alice Litley still held her off. That's impressive. There's the podium then. Ellis Litley towering above Xuan and Wai Che Li. We turn our attention then to the women's team sprint. And we have Spain against New Zealand here. There's the Spanish riders getting ready for action, and in there are Tania Calvo and Helena Casas against the New Zealand squad on the other side. And we're underway then as we see the New Zealand team of Katie Schofield and Natasha Hansen looking like they have just gone off a little bit quick here. Second place rider struggling to stay in the wheel, but is 0.315 the advantage for Spain as New Zealand have a little bit of work to do here. The pairing here of Tania Calvo and the multinational champion Helena Casas race into the line. They win by 0.672, 33.356. The bronze medal goes to Spain. Here we are with the team sprint for the women. This is for the gold medal between Russia and the Netherlands. So one rider leads off, the second rider stays in the slipstream. There is a changing area here on this white line. The riders are allowed to move through, but in essence you have to ride an entire lap. You'll see behind a slight line on the track, which is where the changing area is. You've got to be technically astute or you get disqualified. So it's Russia underway now as they power their way off the track, but Ellis Litley and Shanna Braspanix of the Netherlands, another very, very strong pairing here, as we'll see whether these riders can take another medal here. But it is now Ekaterina Nadenko, who is the Russian rider, bronze medalist in London with Voinova, is looking to try and bring home the gold medal here. Hitting the line, Russia win 32.982 with an average speed of well over 55 kilometers an hour. And Nadenko and Shmeleva. Shmeleva was the bronze medalist in Guadalajara with Voinova. Katerina Nadenko, the bronze medalist in London with Voinova. Now paired together, they take the gold in the women's team sprint.
Please acknowledge our medalists. Señoras y señores, con aplausos reconozcamos a estos medalistas.
There's our podium then, Russia, the Netherlands and Spain. So let's catch up then with the men's omnium after one event. Maximilian Bayer, the leader for Germany with 40 points. As we look here at the men's individual pursuit, Cameron Kowalski and Tim Velt. Kowalski there in the black, Tim Velt, the Dutch rider, very strong omnium rider. As they get themselves up to speed, Maximilian Bayer of Germany leading this competition so far. These are the highlights of the individual pursuit. We will, of course, be dropping straight into the men's omnium points race to bring us to the conclusion of this World Cup omnium. We've already seen that magnificent win of Kirsten Wild in the women's race. But this is looking like Tim Velt has got a slight advantage on the Netherlands rider. Sorry, New Zealand rider, Cameron Kowalski, as we head towards the conclusion of the race. And now the advantage is certainly going up. And it is Tim Velt who is looking like the fastest rider on the track at this moment in time. As he races around, he has the cadence, he's looking fast, he stops the clock in 4:25.233, an average speed of 54.291, and Tim Velt goes top of the leaderboard. Kowalski's time, 4:29.049, second fastest at this point. Well, this is the final heat, Maximilian Beyer and Jesper de Bust. Jesper de Bust there on the right-hand side for Belgium. Tim Velt was the silver medalist in the World Championships here in Cali back at the beginning of 2014. So let's see what sort of time they can put in here. Maximilian Beyer, of course, leading this competition so far. So he needs to go fast, and he's quick at the opening time splits. Double disc wheels in here for Maximilian Beyer, but finding it a little bit difficult. If you've got a little bit of a crosswind here on the track with these double disc wheels where you're not in the enclosed space of a normal velodrome, you can see how much he's kicking around that top banking. Could be he's just got a little bit of turbulence, and that is slowing him down. But Maximilian Beyer has got these really slick gloves on, as you can see, the silver, almost spaceman material, keeping him nice and aero, cutting through the air. 1 lap to go, but is Jesper de Bust, who's the faster rider. He's holding the bike down a little bit better. Maximilian Beyer is letting that bike slide all over the place. Jesper de Bust now heading towards the conclusion of his time trial, 4:27.299. Maximilian Beyer, 4:28.085. Second place for Jesper de Bust, third place for Maximilian Beyer. Maximilian Beyer then leading after 2 events, 76 points, with Jesper de Bust in second, equal on points. This is the elimination then. We had the crash in the women's race, so let's hope that everything is okay here. Very, very fast race. We're down to the final 5 riders. And on the front there is Ollie Wood of Great Britain. A few of you asking where the British riders are, a smaller team from Great Britain in this contest. But Ollie Wood has been on great form in the Revolution series recently, being challenged, but the Danish rider Kasper Pedersen is the rider who's eliminated. 4 riders left then. Thomas Budat, the world champion, Sebastian Milano, Maximilian Beyer and Ollie Wood are the 4 riders left on the track. Thomas Budat, who rides for the Eurocar team now. And Ollie Wood looking like he's getting a bit caught here at the back. These 4 riders now going for the next elimination. Ollie Wood looking for a little bit of a gap to try and race through, trying to challenge Maximilian Beyer, but Ollie Wood there is eliminated, and the world champion stays in the race. Three riders left then. Thomas Budat, Sebastian Milano and Maximilian Beyer. Bayer now goes on the attack. Boudat having to work really hard. This is the track that he won his world title on. The crowd going pretty mad because Sebastian Milano, of course, is a Colombian rider, but he's now been eliminated as these two riders cross the line. Down to the final two. Boudat, the world champion, Maximilian Bayer. These two riders going to fight it out for the maximum points. So Boudat on the front, goes to the top of the track. Maximilian Bayer in second place. Bayer so far has been riding very, very strongly in these rounds of competition. These, of course, are the highlights of the elimination race as Maximilian Bayer turns up the pressure down the back straight. Looks like he's got a bit of an advantage on Thomas Boudat, who's unable to get on terms, and Bayer punches the air there. He takes the win. Maximilian Bayer congratulates Boudat for that performance, but he takes the victory. So far, he's been a strong man in this round of Omnium racing. So this is the points race, and we have, by the looks of things, about 8 riders trying to go clear to take a lap. And these are the standings. And it is pretty close, isn't it? But it's Kowalski who leads, Bayer in second, and Velt in third. Kowalski having produced some great performances in the last couple of races, and this is looking like a real tussle now between these riders. So these riders going clear now with 15 minutes of racing covered. But Kowalski is the rider right now who is leading this race. And we have 3 riders clear. On the front is Arriaga of Spain. Also in this group from the United States of America is Jacob During. There is Kowalski in the black, the current leader of this Omnium competition. He's been consistent all the way through. Arriaga trying to take a lap, if he possibly can. Jacob During joining in on this one. Also in this little group from Mexico is Ignacio Sarabia. But 2 more riders trying to come across with 16 minutes of racing covered. This race, 160 laps, 16 sprints. 5 points for the winner of a sprint, 3 for second, 2 for third, 1 for fourth. And now we have a little bit of an attack, and Thomas Boudat, the world champion, is one of the riders who is on the move here. Oh, a little bit of swinging around going on here, and it's the Australian rider who is in this group now as well. That's Sam Welsford. Let's see just how fast this race is. Absolutely flat out. Arriaga looking strong on the front of the race, coming up to the next sprint. The men's Omnium here on the Cali track last year in the World Championships was Thomas Boudat the winner, Tim Velt in second, and Viktor Manikov of Russia was in third place. All 3 of those riders are in this race. Arriaga being challenged here at the front by the rider from Hong Kong, China. Boudat takes a point, Arriaga takes second, but it's Chung Wung Lung who is the rider who takes 5 points. And we'll just update ourselves on the current standings. Here we are, there's the run-in, and it's just nearly a bike length between first and second place. The Australian rider there in 5th doesn't score any points. Confirmation then, sprint 6 of 16, Chung Wung Lung took 5, Arriaga took 3. And here's the standings, and it's still the same. Kowalski leads. Bayer in second with 1:67. Velt in third with 1:62. Jasper de Bust in fourth with 1:56. Well, the New Zealanders have got a lovely new facility for track cycling, and they're making very good use of it, as we see the Australian rider really stretching this to try and take the lap if they possibly can. Well, 7 or 8 riders now. 7 riders going clear. And this is very dangerous with Boudat on the front of the race here, really powering on. Looks like they are going to take a lap here, and they do. So a group of 7 riders take a lap. Jacob During takes the lap there. So we'll update on the points in a second. That will move them up on the standings. I don't think any of them will take the overall lead. So 20 points for Welsford, Shishku, Elaragia, Thomas Boudat, Jacob During, Sarabia and Chun Wing Lung. And we're coming up to the next sprint with Jasper de Bust, who sits in 4th place with 156 points. Going for the sprint this time. Elariaga also up towards the front. Boudat getting involved in the action again. And going around the outside, Jasper de Bust there is going to take 5 points. Bayer is going to take some points as well. And Bayer is in the photograph for the 2nd place, which would, if he gets it, and he does, move him up equal to Kowalski. So 170 points for Kowalski, 170 points for Bayer, 162 for Velt, 161 for Jasper de Bust. Hollywood now goes clear for Great Britain. Kowalski, a member of the Avanti racing team in New Zealand, 23 years of age. He's got his sights set on Rio. And we're just waiting for the update on the standings. As soon as we bring you those on the screen, we'll confirm the current standings overall. Well, he's ridden for the Marco Polo team in his career. Kowalski's ridden for the Varen Classics team. And there is Maximilian Bayer. Bayer riding strongly, but I think he is equal on points with Kowalski with 170. But on countback, he will probably be the leader now of this race. Kowalski, we haven't seen too much of him in these sprints yet since we came into this race live, but now we have the big attack that all the crowd want to see. And of course it's from the Colombian rider who is going clear now, and that is Sebastian Milano. Well, the crowd are going to urge him on. There's going to be a wall of sound all the way around this velodrome as they try to bring him a little bit more power so he can take a lap. You can hear them in the background. They're going pretty wild already, urging him on. Can he take the advantage? Can he bring home another lap here? This chase that's on right now is incredible. Fantastic racing so far in this Omnium, but it's Kowalski and Bayer who are matched and neck in the lead. Sebastian Milano racing hard at the front. This crowd know that he's pretty close. And Milano will take the points there. Martin Irvine will take second. Manakov takes third. Sam Welsford takes fourth. And Milano decides to sit up. Meanwhile, Martin Irvine, who's a previous world champion, decides to sit up as well. And now the counter-attack happens, and it's Jasper de Bust who goes on the move. That's the midway point, sprint number 8 of 16. Confirmation then that my little bit of working out is correct. Beyer and Kowalski are tied on 170 points, but Beyer, by courtesy of his results so far in the racing on countback, is the leader. Tim Velt with 162, Jasper de Bust with 161. It's still anyone's race with 8 sprints left. And now the attack goes on again. And it's the rider from Hong Kong, China, who is breaking away. And this is Chung Wing Lung, who's trying to get an advantage on the rest of the field. Thomas Boudat trying now to break the will of the rest of the field as he goes clear. And the rider from Hong Kong, China, unable to go with the pressure. Thomas Boudat is accelerating away. Well, this is still very much anybody's race. It's so close between all the riders in the top, I think the top 6 or 7 places. Pedersen is still there in 6th. He's, if he took a lap, he'd be pretty close to the lead as well. So would Suter of Switzerland. He's in with a shout. And without any doubt whatsoever, Jasper de Bust, Beyer, Velt and Kowalski all in with sight of the medals. Kowalski, though, right now is notable by his absence in any of the moves. He looks like he's suffering in this race, as 5 riders now go clear. And de Bust is the danger man as we head towards the sprint lap. De Bust will be looking for the maximum 5 points here, which would move him on to 166. And de Bust is a previous medalist in the World Championships, and he's about to take a lap with Beyer as they go for the sprint. And Boudat takes the 5. I'm not sure that was correct because they're not on the back of the string. I'm pretty sure that the points should have gone to Thomas Boudat and also de Bust and to Beyer. So I would ignore those points maybe, unless the judges deemed them to have caught the lap already. So we'll update in a second, but de Bust took 20 points, Boudat took 20 points, Ollie Wood took 20 points for Great Britain, which means to me right now de Bust and Beyer also took a lap, which means that Beyer is leading this race with 190 points, de Bust is on 181, Kowalski on 170, Velt on 162. But I'm still not sure that de Bust shouldn't have got 3 points for that previous lap, which means he'd be on 183 and a little bit closer to the points of Beyer than he is right now. But we'll check. We'll make sure that that's not the case. .65 laps to go, and now the attack happens. And it is the Belarusian rider who had a slight advantage. Now the counter-attack happens here. and it is the rider from the Czech Republic, where the World Cyclocross Championships will be happening in Tabor in just a couple of weeks' time. Look out for live streams of that. I'm going to be in Tabor in the Czech Republic for the World Cyclocross Championships. It's going to be a little bit cold, I think, as we see now. So the next sprint coming up. And it looked like it was the Dutch rider Tim Velt who took the points there that time. He needs to score, so he takes 5, which will move him on to 167. There's confirmation, Velt takes it, and the Swiss rider in second place. So at the moment it looks like it is Bayer with 190, and Velt there moves on to 167. De Bus to me should be on about 184, and Kowalski on 170. There we are, it's been confirmed now. So 192 to Bayer, he's the leader. The little points shuffling around I was talking about has now been fixed. So Bayer leads 192, De Bus 184, Kowalski 170, and Velt on 167. All is good now as we have got everything right. Want to make sure you can keep up to date with this. You need your all your fingers, all your toes, your calculator, and your wits about you to know exactly what's going on. The most important thing is you know that this man from Germany is the leader of this Omnium points race, and the winner of the Omnium after 6 events is the rider who accumulates the most points. There are 5 points for a sprint, 3 points for second, 2 points for third, 1 point for the 4th place, and if you take a lap there's 20. So if you want to keep up with exactly what's going on, right now Bayer is on 192. He is the leader of the race. Jasper De Bus on 184 is in second place. Kowalski's on 170. Velt is on 167. Still anyone's race between those top riders as we see another attack going on, and this is the Italian rider Simone Consoni, who is going on the move. It is a really tough bike race, this. Constant attacks, flat out effort, and when you're going for the World Championships, which will be coming up in Paris, in France, in a few weeks' time, it is absolutely no holes barred bike racing. Jasper De Bus now looking to put himself towards the top of the leaderboard. He's already in second place. He is 8 points behind that of Bayer, who is challenging on the outside. Jasper De Bus going for the line. He looks around. Oh, and Bayer took the 3 points there. So he moves on to 195. Jasper De Bus moves on to 186. So he has a clear lead in the silver medal position. But just when he thought he was about to take the 5 points, Maximilian Bayer races through and he takes it. So it's now Bayer with 195, De Bus with 186, Kowalski with 170, and Tim Velt with 168 now. Getting closer to the bronze medal is Tim Velt. Kowalski needs to do something. Big attack now. There's confirmation of the standings. 195 to Bayer, 186 to De Bus, 170 If you're a New Zealand fan, cheer him on right now. Cameron Kowalski needs a little bit of help. Tim Velt is in 4th place, 168. Gail Sutter and Thomas Budat still have a chance of getting into the medals here if they can take a lap. So everyone's got to have their wits about them, as Martin Irvine, who's just signed for the British Madsen Genesis team, hits the front. Getting really dark here in Cali now. The counter-attack happens for Mexico. Ignacio Sarabia makes another big ditch attack at the front to try and go away, but it just stretches the race out one more time. He swings up the track. The Colombian rider goes to the front. Sebastian Milano, he gets the crowd going. The Chinese rider looks around. And Martin Irvine goes back through again to try and use his power. He rode for the United Healthcare team last year. Some real pain faces going on now. There's some coaches who can't take the pressure either. They are just wandering around with stressed looks on their faces. One more lap to go to the next sprint. And who's going to take it? It looks like the Russian rider, that is Viktor Manakov, who's leading Martin Irvine. Behind them is Consoni. So it's Manakov who takes the maximum points, Irvine, Consoni, and the next rider to cross the line is Hao Lu of China. 40 laps to go. 4 more sprints. As Martin Irvine looked around for someone to come through and do some pacemaking, there was nobody there. Confirmation of that last sprint. And still there are the places. Tim Velt needs a couple more points to get equal on terms with Kowalski. Maximilian Bayer right now is heading towards a gold medal, but this race is not over yet. The Australian rider now hits the front. Fantastic attack, and it is coming now from these two riders, combining Sam Welsford and Kazushika Kuboki of Japan, as they go clear. So loud now in this Cali velodrome, the music's playing, the crowd are cheering, and the noise of the riders circling on the boards. Sam Welsford and Kuboki are about to take a lap on the rest of the field. 35 laps to go. Kuboki looks around. Are they going to be given their chance here? Looks like another 5 riders are going clear, including the Spanish rider, Eloriaga. There is Maximilian Bayer, sitting on the wheel of Ollie Wood. Jasper de Bust on the front. So 2 riders clear, followed by another 5 riders on the track. And the pace kind of goes out of the front of the attack. It's the Hong Kong China rider who takes up the initiative. Chung Wong Lung, the Belarusian also, Raman Shishku. But it looks like this attack doesn't have the impetus, but the points should be going to this front group. There they are, crossing the line. And they have 1 more lap to the sprint, led by Sam Welsford of Australia. 2 more riders trying to get across. One of them is the Colombian rider Milano, but it is the Danish rider Pedersen who takes 5 points. Chung Wong Lung in second, Kuboki in third, while Le is in 4th place in a photograph with the rest of the riders. Still, the positions will be Bayer leading with 195. De Bus with 186. Kowalski with 170, who we haven't seen anywhere near the front of the race for a while. Tim Velt with 168. And confirmation there that Manakov took it. Irvine second, Consoni third, Wailu in fourth place. And still the placings haven't changed. 38 minutes gone in this points race. Thanks to all of you who've joined me on Twitter tonight at @McCrossan. It's been a pleasure bringing you tonight's coverage of the racing. Still more racing to come. We'll bring you the men's sprint, the men's team pursuit, and the women's keirin before the end of the night. And still this attack continues as these riders try to take a lap on the rest of the field. The danger rider in here is Pedersen, who's there on the front, swings up the track. Because if Pedersen and also the Swiss rider can take a lap on the rest of the field, they will move right up on the standings. So everyone realises that this is a big move right now. And Jasper de Bust and Bayer have recognised that there is a problem here, and therefore they're going clear. They realise that the Swiss rider, and that is Gail Sutter, and the rider from the Danish squad, Kasper Pedersen, are big dangers as they take 20 points now. Just about to grab the back of the field, and the peloton is deemed by the judges, for those of you who know, as the biggest group on the track, and that is the group in the front. But as they take 20 points, Jasper de Bust and Maximilian Bayer looks like they are about to catch them as well. So there's going to be 5 points on offer this time, and the race all comes together. Oh, a little bit dicey in there. Thomas Budat likes to go for the gaps. Kowalski has a problem now as they hit the line. The front of the race is here, and Pedersen, Kuboki, Ruben and De Bust looks like he takes some points. The front of the race wasn't there by the looks of things. Thomas Budat in the lead, because the judges are pointing to the front of the race always, and that is a lot further back because the peloton was all together but 2 riders were still on the move. So we'll update you in a second. 18 laps to go. Pedersen takes 5 points, Chung Wong Lung takes 3, Kuboki takes 2, Wailu takes 1. Budat made a little bit of a mistake there. He would have been better just hanging off the back, going for the sprint and then catching the leaders. So let's update then on the overall standings, because they will have changed a little. And Kowalski is there, but Tim Velt now is on 170. And Kowalski is still there, but Pedersen has moved right up in the standings, I think. But still Bayer with 195. 186 to De Bust, 170 for Velt and Kowalski. And further on down, Budat's on 152. I'm just going to check the points that were taken then. I think what's happened is that the group who caught the group of riders on the track was bigger than the group they caught. Therefore, the group that was caught will lose a lap and everyone else stays on the same lap that they were on, which is why you've not seen Bayer move to 215 points, which he would have done if he'd taken the 20 points. Hopefully, you'll understand that but the rules of a points race are that the lap is taken when a group catches the biggest group on the track. Which means that a group of riders lost a lap as opposed to taking a lap. Right, we're going to now move on to the next sprint, and it looks like it is the Spanish rider Elimination on the front. Hopefully you're keeping up with what's going on, and we only have 2 sprints left, and it's the Colombian rider Milano in second. That wasn't Tim Veld on the front, was it? Martinelli in third, Milano in fourth. It was, in fact, it was Tim Veld. So Veld takes 5 points, which moves him firmly onto 175 and moves him firmly into the bronze medal position ahead of the New Zealander Kowalski. Well, having explained all of that to you, they have given them a lap. So they have decided to deem the biggest group on the track as the group that they caught. So it's 2:15 for Bayer. De Bust now moves on to 2:06. Velt is on 1:75. Kowalski is dropping back a little bit. Gail Sutter now has taken a lap, so he is up there in with a chance of taking the bronze medal. But I think the win is going to go to Bayer with 2:15. So it was interesting, the judges were pointing to the other group, but they've now decided to change it and give them the lap on the field and not drop a lap for everyone else. So 2:15, they give them 20 points. 5 laps to go. It looks to me like Bayer is going to be the winner of this points race. Omnium competition. He's going to take the overall Omnium at the end of the night. He's just got to watch Tim Velt very, very carefully. And Jasper de Bust, who is also a real danger man. But with 5 points for the win, he can't go top of the leaderboard. He would have to take a lap, and there's only 4 laps left. So right now we are looking at the gold medal going to Germany, the silver medal going to Belgium, and the bronze medal right now is going, I think, to the Netherlands, but we'll keep an eye on this right up to the finish line. Thanks to all of you for joining in. So De Bust has 2:06, Bayer has 2:15, and here we go with a big attack, and it's Bayer who's going to go clear. Bayer is going to do a lap of honour, powering his way towards the finish line. Bayer takes 5 points, he wins the Omnium, 220 points to him. Martin Irvine takes second, Manakov takes third, and Maximilian Bayer is the winner of this World Cup here in Cali in Colombia, and he's pretty happy with that, isn't he? Well, magnificent points race, and Maximilian Bayer, high fives to the coaches. 220 will be his finishing total, and a fantastic final attack to go with that too. So there we go. Hopefully you kept up with that. Sorry about the little description in the middle, but it looked to me from the scoreboard that the judges had decided to drop a lap for the small group that was caught, but then they decided to change it, go back to 2:15 points, but it didn't change the winner overall. It meant that Bayer was still the leader no matter what happened. The final standings then. Maximilian Bayer wins, Jasper de Bust in second, Tim Velt in third for the Netherlands, Gail Suter in fourth, Boudat in fifth, Karwowski stayed on 170, finishes sixth place for New Zealand. Well, let's get our breath back then as we go back to the men's sprint. We'll build up to that. And of course, Maximilian Levy and Fabian Puerta have been fighting it out for the bronze medal. Out onto the track then. Fabian Puerta and Maximilian Levy. Puerta, the World Cup leader after 2 rounds. To bring you into the end of the night, we're going to bring you this men's sprint, both finals, the men's team pursuit, and we'll also bring you the women's keirin as well. So plenty more action to come. But we still have this contest. Levy will not want to let this one be lost. He'll want to take it to a decider if he can. But in front of a home crowd. Puerta will want the bronze medal. Fabian Puerta being urged on now by all his country folk as he moves around the track. He got this one right last time. Now the acceleration starts to happen. Levy is into the slipstream. Fabian Puerta on the front. Levy's not leaving this one to chance. He's trying to go to the front, but he can't. Fabian Puerta, look at that. That's a great acceleration. Levy goes high again to try and get a little bit more speed to come back at him. But Puerta takes it 2-0 to the rider from Colombia. What a stunning sprint there. So the bronze medal goes to Colombia in this Track World Cup. And he gives the home crowd something to cheer about this evening here in Cali. So he waves to the crowd as we move on now to the gold medal ride, which of course is between Jeffrey Hoogland and Denis Dmitriev. Dmitriev were 1-0 up in the contest. Jeffrey Hoogland, the rider who has been so strong in the sprints so far in these track World Cups. But Dmitriev is the leader of this contest so far. So it comes down to this then. Dmitriev had his tactics right in the last contest. Now it comes down to Hoogland to try and do something about this now. Three laps of the track. Hoogland. He'll have gone into the track centre, he'll have analysed exactly how the race went last time, and he'll look now to bring this one to a decider. The best of three riders, of course, if necessary. So if Hoogland wins this one, then it'll be 1-1, and he will go to a deciding ride against Denis Dmitriev. Who's going to win this one? Dmitriev at the front. He leads 1-0 as Hoogland goes high on the track. Dmitriev holding him up there. Oh, a little bit dicey. Hoogland trying to get in contact now as they go down the back straight. They go shoulder to shoulder. Oh, look at this. They're almost up at the banking, and Hoogland, who got that one? Oh, what an impressive sprint between those two. There was absolutely not a centimetre given between them. They were shoulder to shoulder, elbow to elbow. I don't know how they didn't come off. Well, it could come down to what the judges say between them. Let's have a look at this. So they go powering round. Dmitriev refused to give in. He had the inside line. Let's take a look. Hoogland is the rider who moves in. Dmitriev then has to waver. Well, it's going to be... Then they were right up above the blue line. That was very, very lucky. Neither of them came to any sort of grief, and then they hit the line. Hoogland has the win, but the big question is who the judges will give it to, whether there'll be any relegation. Well, we'll bring you up to date with that in a second. Meanwhile, let's turn our attention quickly to the men's team pursuit. And this is the highlights of the men's team pursuit finals. So far, we're seeing on the screens Hoogland wins that sprint, but we'll just keep an eye in case there's any change of decision. So Great Britain against Denmark in the men's team pursuit. Great Britain in the white as the leaders of the World Cup, but they have a very changed squad here with a pretty young team of Chris Latham, Mark Stewart, Matthew Gibson and Jermaine Burton, which is a totally different team to that rode in London against the team here of Denmark. Let's see who takes have the advantage on Rusvello. Rusvello looking really ragged as they head towards the end of this race. And it is a win for Australia. They take the gold medal, 4 minutes 3.200. What a magnificent performance by this young Australian squad. They take the win. Very well deserved indeed. And here's the podium presentation.
Please acknowledge our medalists.
We're pretty over the moon. It was a tough race against Russia. The Rusvello team really pushed us all the way, and we pulled together, and it was a great race.
The atmosphere here in Cali has been amazing. We've had a great time, and like the crowd today, we can hear them every step of the way, and they really edged us on for that win.
Well, very well done to the young Australian team. Absolutely fantastic performance by them tonight to take that medal. We're going to turn our attention back now to the women's keirin and the 7th to 12th places. Thanks to all of you who've joined me for this action, bringing you live and highlights of all the racing. I hope you've kept up to date with everything. For those of you who've sent me some Twitter messages, particularly during the thunderstorm, thank you very much to all of you for joining in, keeping us going during that break. Well, let's run through then the riders in this 7th to 12th place keirin. Monique Sullivan of Canada, Juliana Guevara of Colombia, Alessandra Guerra of Cuba, Tanya Calvo of Spain, Wai-Chu Lee, there she is on the right hand side, of Hong Kong, China, and Fataha Mustafa, who's over there on the far side in the lime green colours. So the lot's being chosen to decide where they start behind the Derny bike. The feet being put into the pedals. Those of you who haven't seen keirin racing before, they clip their feet into the pedals. They're normally quite often double toe straps like Wai-Chu Lee is putting on there. to keep the feet nicely strapped in so all the power goes through the pedals. You'll notice Wai Chu Li had a power meter also on her bike, taken from the cranks. There's Fateh Mustafa riding for her trade team. Monique Sullivan of Canada. Wai Chu Li of Hong Kong, China. Cassandra Guerra. Sandra Guerra's form kind of goes up and down a fair amount. Sometimes she can be absolutely sparkling and winning medals, and then can be further on down the field. She's such a talented bike rider. Juliana Gaviria on the inside line. Will have to lead off. Now they're starting on that white line, which is just a few meters before the finish line. Some of you now and then get a little bit confused about which one is the finish line. That line there they've just passed is the 200-meter line on the track. The black line around the bottom is what we call the gauge line. That's the way the track is measured at 250 meters. And the run into the finish line, the red line is the sprinter's line. This line coming up is the start point of the pursuit and the keirin, and then that's the finish line, the big thick double white line. The blue line around the top is what we call the stayers line, and that is where the big motorbikes, we used to have big motors ride on these tracks, and they had to stay up above that blue line to get a ride round as fast as they actually did. So black line's the gauge line, red line the sprinter's line, blue line the gauge line. Big bit round the bottom, the blue is the Côte d'Azur, and then the green is just the inside bit of the track. Eight laps of the track as they line up. And it's Juliana Gaviria who is the rider leading. Cassandra Guerra, you can pick her out with the yellow shoes. Wai Chu Li behind her. Mustafa in fourth, Monique Sullivan in fifth. 4 laps to go. You can hear the coaches whistling on the inside of the track. They use signals to let their riders know what's happening. So Monique Sullivan on the front as they head towards the final couple of laps. This is the small final, so this decides the placings. Monique Sullivan is the leader as they now go for the line. 1 lap to go. Wai Chu Li on the outside. Cassandra Guerra making her way through. It's very close in there. Monique Sullivan trying to keep on terms, but Wai Chu Li is the rider who goes for the line. She takes 7th place. Monique Sullivan in 8th, Cassandra Guerra and Mustafa in the photograph for 9th place. Well, there's confirmation of the result. Wai Chu Li wins, Monique Sullivan in 2nd place. And that was the sprint for 7th to 12th places. But now we turn our attention to the women's keirin final, and this is the lineup. Caitlin Ward of Australia with Junhong Ling, Xuan Guo, Shana Braspanix Ekaterina Nedenko and Melissa Eriksson are the riders who will fight it out for the gold medal. In terms of previous performance, you would expect Xuan Guo maybe to be the favourite for this race. So they do their toe straps up, get themselves ready. Rider from the United States of America, Eriksson. There is Melissa Eriksson getting ready for racing. Shana Braspanics, 2 times an under-23 European champion. Xuan Guo. Looks like she's done a big warm-up ready for this race. The Australian rider, Caitlin Ward, comes from Frankston in Victoria. Nedenko, again the rider who doesn't wear the visor compared to all the other riders. Caitlin Ward then 3rd in the Oceania Championships in the team sprint. Started cycling at the age of 14. And now we're seeing her in the World Cup. So, can she win the gold medal? It's a big ask against this sort of competition, but let's see what happens. Melissa Eriksson of the United States, also an emerging name. Nedenko, Xuan Guo, Braspanics are names that we know. Braspanics at the back. Caitlin Ward right on the wheel. Behind her, Melissa Eriksson of the United States of America. Behind her, Nedenko. In the red and yellow is the Chinese rider, Junghong Ling. Behind her is another Chinese rider, Xuan Guo, in the World Cup Leaders Kit. And behind her is Shana Braspanics. Big chance now for one of these riders to take the gold medal. 6 laps of racing to go. Still Caitlin Ward on the front. The music in the background building up, 5 laps to go. Melissa Eriksson right on the wheel of Caitlin Ward, not leaving much of a gap at all. The power meter underneath the saddle of the Australian. 4 laps to go now. Nedenko sitting 3rd wheel. Xuan Guo so ominously placed in 5th. She's bound to make a move and she'll try and use her might to beat the rest of these riders. Caitlin Ward now left on the front for Australia. Nedenko leaving a gap, looking around all the time. She's going to use a slipstream. They're all worried about Xuan Guo. Caitlin Ward on the front. 2 laps to go. Melissa Eriksson there. Xuan Guo now tracking her teammate from China. Oh, big crash as Caitlin Ward and Nedenko both hit the deck. Well, it's the Chinese rider Junhong Ling who's on the front. Xuanguo going through. Brashpanic's in third. Who's going to take this one? Oh, and they almost come to another crash. Xuanguo takes it. Zheng Hongling in second. Shanna Brashpanic's in third. Melissa Eriksson in fourth place. And it's Caitlin Ward and Nadenko who are left in the middle of the track with a big crash. Caitlin Ward looking a little bit winded here. Well, here we go. In fact, she just came down and just Xuanguo just took I think they just bumped Caitlin Ward being hit. Yep, it was Xuanguo just hitting her, but right over the top went Nadenko, riding right into the side of Caitlin Ward there. Well, Xuanguo, I don't know if they'll be a little bit, well, both those riders, Caitlin Ward taking a thumping crash and Nadenko had nowhere to go. That was a really big tussle, but Xuanguo, she likes to intimidate her opponents, and they were so close together as they came round that banking. The two Chinese riders, look at that, Xuanguo almost then taking a country folk off the track as well. Well, Nadenko riding straight over the top of Caitlin Ward. Hopefully the two of them will get up now. Yep, they're both up on their feet. And Xuanguo takes the victory ahead of Lung Zheng Hong. Shanna Brashpanic's in third, Melissa Eriksson in fourth. I don't think Nadenko finished that race. She may well be given fifth, but Caitlin Ward is going to have Colombian battle scars and a few splinters to get removed from her body there. I wonder whether there'll be any change to that result. We'll bring you that if we do here. Well, one more race left to bring you, and that is the deciding race between Jeffrey Hoogland and Denis Dmitriev. Some of you have asked me about Hoogland and finding him on Twitter. His Twitter is not his name, it's Highlander BMX. He's a bit of a fan of BMX racing. So if you're trying to find Hoogland, Highlander BMX is the place to look on Twitter. And it's 1-1 between these two riders, and this is the final race of the night. Concentration on the face of these two riders. We've had some magnificent racing. Our next track racing, of course, will be the Track World Championships from Paris. Well, the track just being repaired a little. Do join us on uci.ch for news of the World Championships if you're trying to find out, and if you live anywhere near Paris or you're within touching distance of it, get yourself a ticket, come along and see the racing. All the stars will be there looking to try and win the famed rainbow bands. Hoogland then will lead. Hopefully we will see the end of this before all the satellite links from Colombia disappear. So thank you to all of you for watching. Thanks to all of you for joining us and keeping me entertained with your questions and your thoughts. Hopefully we will bring you the end. If we don't, my apologies for the end of the sprint, but because of the massive break we had in the middle of the transmission, satellite time has been extended and extended. Hopefully you've seen lots of racing tonight. We brought you a ton of bike racing, and it's been a pleasure talking to all of you and bringing you all the action. But let's see, we might be okay. They're up on the track now. Denis Dimitriev just strapping his feet in. Hoogland up on the track now. So this is the decider in the men's sprint. 3 laps of the track. If we don't manage to bring you the finish of this, then please visit uci.ch for the final results. Keep an eye on Twitter as well. We may just get to the end. So from me, Anthony McCrossan, thanks for joining me tonight. Let's see if we can fit this one in. Hoogland on the front. Dimitriev, it's 1-1 between these two riders. Hoogland leads. Dimitriev in second place. Two laps to go. Dimitriev right up the top of the track. Hoogland now wavering around. He won the gold medal in London. Dimitriev dives down. He goes to the inside track. Hoogland now has got to get his tactics right. Dimitriev drops down inside the sprinter's line. Hoogland's given himself an awful lot to do. Dimitriev is powering away. Hoogland trying to get back on terms. They hit the line now. Dimitriev takes it. He dismisses Hoogland. And he takes the gold medal. Well, a fantastic performance. Dimitriev wins that one. 2-1 to Denis Dimitriev of Rusvelo against Hoogland, who takes a silver medal. Denis Dimitriev then moving around the track. Punches the air, very, very happy with that performance. So he will take the gold medal. Takes his gloves off, undoes his toe straps. Well, a great night of racing here in Cali. The crowd showing their appreciation for the riders. This is the third of the World Cups. Well, we managed to bring you the final of that sprint, luckily. And so we're going to bring you a couple of medal ceremonies. We're going to bring you the ceremony of the women's keirin. And crowd waiting just to congratulate the riders as they get their medals. And there are the medal winners.
Riders 261 from MSD get relegation for entering the sprinter lane when the opening was predicted.
Shanna Braspanix looks a bit concerned that she should be. I think there's some discussions going on about places here in this keirin. It wouldn't surprise me. I'm just going to keep checking the results up until this presentation happens. Judging by the just by the crashes and things that happened, there could still be a few things happening in the center of the track. Shanna Braspanix saying I was third. She's been asked to sit in second place there, I think. I'm just double checking, but we'll see whether anything changes. And still more discussions go on. Well, you can see there that there is a change because Melissa Eriksson has appeared. And I think what's happened here, if I'm just interpreting everything, is that Xuan Guo has been relegated for the performance in that last race, and therefore that would mean that Jun Hongling of China would be the winner. Braspanix would be second as we look here at the team's World Cup standings. Germany are the leaders, Great Britain second, Australia in third. And Melissa Eriksson of the United States of America will be in third place in this keirin. Xuan Guo relegated. in the keirin race.
Colombia en el quinto lugar con 2 medallas, una de oro, una de bronce. Colombia Puerta, campeón del keirin y campeón de la velocidad.
So if you stayed around, you can see all the changes that are going on. It's not a big surprise. That Xuan Guo has been relegated. There was a big move with her and Caitlin Ward was on the inside line. So Junhong Ling of China will be the gold medalist. The silver medal will go to Shanna Braspanics there on the left-hand side. Melissa Erickson of the United States will be the bronze medalist. It's taking a little bit of time, but that's so the judges are absolutely 100% sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, the medal ceremony for the UCI Track Cycle World Cup Cali Women's Skating. Damas y caballeros, ceremonia de premiación.
So here we are, the women's keirin. The medal ceremony about to take place.
The medals and UCI winner jersey will be presented by member of the UCI Management Board, José Manuel Peláez.
Las medallas y el jersey UCI serán entregadas por el miembro de la mesa directiva de la UCI, José Manuel Peláez.
Winners of the bronze medal representing United States of America.
La ganadora de la medalla de bronce representa a Estados Unidos de América.
Melissa Erickson.
Melissa Erickson is the bronze medalist in the women's keirin.
Winners of silver medal representing Netherlands.
La ganadora de la medalla de plata representa a Holanda.
Shane Braspanics.
Shanna Braspanics takes the silver medal.
Women's skating gold medalist of the UCI Track Cycle World Cup Cali representing China.
La medallista de oro de la Copa Mundo de Ciclismo Artista representa a China.
And Junhong Ling is the winner of the gold medal in the women's keirin, finishing in second place. Xuan Guo being relegated and Junhong Ling being given the gold medal.
Represented by Vice President of Colombian Cycling Federation, Agustín Moreno.
Las flores sean presentadas por el vicepresidente de la Asociación Colombiana de Ciclismo, Agustín Moreno.
And being presented now by with the flowers before we hear the national anthem of China.
Please acknowledge all our medalists.
Por favor, reconozcamos a toda
Shannon
nuestra
wins the
medallista.
women's keirin. The flowers didn't quite last until after that. Shanna Brasmanix then takes the silver medal. Melissa Eriksson takes the bronze. Germany lead the standings in the World Cup after 3 rounds. The next rounds of competition will be the Track World Championships in France. We're looking forward very much to those. We have 1 month until all that happens. In the meantime, we look across the track.
The UCI winners for the UCI Trucks World Cali will now be presented.
El jersey ganador de la Copa World Pista será presentado.
Winners in women's skate
And despite despite being relegated, Zhang Guo is still the leader of the World Cup. So she wins the UCI World Cup for the women's keirin. And we've now got the men's medal ceremony of the men's sprint. Well, the men's sprint competition was pretty exciting. Lots of action. A member of our events team doing the sports presentation, checking his phone.
The medals and UCI winners jersey will be presented by manager of the Colombian cycling.
So the presentation then of the men's sprint.
Las medallas y el jersey UCI serán entregadas por el gerente de la Federación
Denis Dimitriev outwitting Jeffrey Hoogland to win this gold medal.
Winners of the bronze medal representing Colombia.
El ganador de la medalla de bronce representa Colombia.
Fabian Puerta takes the bronze medal in the men's sprint. He took the gold medal in the keirin, of course.
Winners of the silver medal representing Netherlands.
El ganador de la medalla de plata representa a Holanda.
Jeffrey Hoogland.
Jeffrey Hoogland takes the silver medal.
Men's sprint gold medalist of the UCI Track Cycling World Cup Cali, representing Rusbelo team from Russia.
El medallista de oro de la Copa del Mundo de Ciclismo de Pista, Cali, UCI, en la prueba de velocidad, representa al equipo Rusbelo de Rusia.
And Denis Dimitriev takes the gold medal in the men's sprint.
The flowers will be presented by member of the UCI Management Board, José Manuel Peláez.
Las flores serán presentadas por el miembro de la Junta Directiva de la UCI, José Manuel Peláez.
So the flowers being presented to the 3 medal winners.
Ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem of
And
Russia.
now the national anthem
Damas
of
y
Russia.
caballeros, el himno nacional de Rusia.
Please
There's our
acknowledge
3
all
medal
our
winners
medalists.
then.
Reconozcamos a
Fabian
nuestro
Puerta takes the
medallista.
bronze medal, Jeffrey Hoogland takes the silver, and Denis Dmitriev takes the gold. Denis Dmitriev takes his final chance on the podium. Last few photographs. Well, a few spectators left here in the track and a few competitors just getting ready to leave. Long trip back for some, and then a little bit of time to get ready for the World Championships.
The UCI winner's jersey for the UCI Track Cycling World Cup Cali will now be presented.
El jersey del ganador de la Copa Mundo de Pista UCI ahora será presentado.
Winners in men's sprint representing Colombia,
El
And this
ganador
one will get a big
representa
cheer.
Colombia.
Fabián Puerta.
The winner of the UCI World Cup for the sprint, Fabian Puerta, and he's being presented with that jersey now. Fabian Puerta
Please
takes the
acknowledge our
UCI
winner.
Track Cycling
Reconozcamos al
World
ganador.
Cup leaders jersey for the men's sprint. Well, thank you for joining me for a magnificent evening of racing. We've had everything. We've had crashes, thunderstorms, and some scintillating racing. Join me again soon. Thanks very much. Bye for now.